If you would have told
Yeah.
us in season, I mean, it's still the same 30 days, but
No, I know what you mean. Though.
I mean, if you would have told us in season 1 that'd be happening,
Yeah, I know.
would have said.
I mean, and Chris Killian like said he was like, yeah, maybe, and I took it as a definite maybe. I didn't expect him to come. So like,
yeah, whatever.
Hey, but I found a pitch that works. It was like, we'll send you a Zoom link. You come in for 5 minutes. And it was like, I got 2 yeses immediately. So I copied and pasted that and sent it to like 100 people, including Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. And then what you do is, I didn't have enough time, and I still could, but you just got to paste now you just drop the Zoom link in people's DMs. And like, it's only like this one meeting. So you're not really risking anything.
Right.
And if they pop in.
Yeah, maybe Ryan Reynolds will
It
join.
happens.
Maybe Ryan Reynolds will join at 6
Sorry.
o'clock mid-episode.
It happens.
Sorry, Brandon Davis. We're going to have to make you wait a second.
I'd be like, shut
Ryan
up, Brandon.
Reynolds is here. I got a Scotty Scoop medical story.
Oh, good. Perfect.
I did the went and did the sleep study. I take Ambien every night to sleep because I just don't sleep otherwise. So they rejected my sleep study at the sleep study place, and I had to do an at-home one, which was just basically a like thing that went around like my chest, and like a sensor tube that went like to my nose just to monitor my breathing and stuff.
Right.
And of course, that said, I had minor sleep apnea when I sleep on my back, which I don't sleep on my back.
That's good. That's me too. If I slept on my back, I would have it. But
Yeah, absolutely.
I on purpose sleep on.
That's why I don't sleep on my back. And you know what they told me?
What?
You need to sleep at least 4 hours on your back.
Why?
I was like, well, then it's going to tell me I have sleep apnea because I don't sleep on my back.
Oh, just for the test.
Yeah, just for the test.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, of course, they told me I got it. And Thursday, I picked up my new machine, CPAP machine, and I don't know how much I can handle it. My insurance says you got to wear it for 4 hours a night.
And it's pretty big. It's like,
it's not really that big. I mean, it's a tube. It comes into the top, kind of like a headphones.
oh, okay.
And then the strap that comes down is hollow,
Uh-huh.
and it just goes in front of your nose.
Oh, wow.
And it just sits in front of your nose. And then there's like a back strap to just keep it there.
Okay.
And the top tube is like on a swivel.
So they don't do like the
So
cover
you
or your
can-
face mask.
Yeah,
really.
you can. They have those.
But you don't need that.
I don't need that.
You just need a little more O2.
Yeah, and it just forces air into your nose, so you sleep with your mouth closed, and it pushes the palate down.
Oh, okay.
So if you
Right.
open your mouth, it's like all of the air's coming out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You can feel it?
Yeah, oh for sure. Like a superpower.
How you doing with it? You said not very well.
Not very well,
Just like uncomfortable.
just getting used to it.
It's new.
Getting used
Yeah.
to sleeping with something on my face.
Even like getting
in my head.
retainers, it's just
Yeah.
it took me a minute to like get used to like having those. And even still I get like annoyed sometimes when I'm like, just let it go.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
And you're
Just
like,
go for it.
and just think to yourself, man, I'm really getting some oxygen.
Yeah. Lots.
Hey, good for you for taking care of that shit. A lot of people don't. And it
Yeah,
fucking
I
kills
mean,
people.
Hopefully it works.
You got any sleep study stuff happen? I've never had one. I don't think I need it yet because if I sleep on my back, that's the same thing. It's like,
Yeah.
and Carrie will be like, I'll be like, oh shit, and her too. If she's like
Yeah.
on her back, and I'm like, yeah, if you sleep like with your chin down in your like chest, like it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
But I get on my side, I'm
yeah.
good. If I sleep,
100%
I
side
can't-
sleeper.
I can't sleep in my stomach unless my arms are all the way at my side.
Yeah.
If I put them up under my pillow, both my arms fall all the way asleep.
Oh, 100%. Always.
I've never done one. Mike Key said that pretty much what you said is that he did it and he thinks it saved his life. So,
Oh, nice.
but yeah, I remember when he first started that he had the same thoughts. He was like, "This sucks,"
Yeah.
and now I don't. Yeah, I'm for that reason I'm on the fence.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
There you go.
if you need it,
Interesting.
go for it.
Well, good luck, dude. Good luck with that, because
Yeah.
that sucks. We always have to deal with some kind of stupid shit. You know,
Mhm.
it's just like one thing after the other. All right, it's 5:30. Let's just see like how far we get in a half hour, and we'll know when it's time to stop. I think we can get through it. I just want to talk about the movie. That's all I want to talk about. And then we'll break, eat some pizza, and then like do some other stuff. Sound all right?
Mm-hmm.
How's Stephanie?
Good. She's hanging out.
She's
All's good.
just watching TV.
She's just staring at the door,
she's
waiting to get home.
She's watched like 3. I have way more hobbies than her, like golf league and this. So she's watched about 3 shows that I haven't watched in the past month, and I wouldn't watch them. Bridgerton, 2 seasons, or 2, like, I don't know, 2 different, like that Bridgerton and a spinoff, and then there's some other show that I can't remember what it was called, but it sounded pretty good.
Carrie's been watching Real Housewives.
I'm like, I don't watch any shows without you, but it's not fair. I need to.
Well, you can have your own shows. I mean,
I did.
what about the Batman?
There's some like
Cape Crusader.
that and Invincible will be my.
Yeah,
2.
I gotta check that out.
That's good.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot more than My Adventures with Superman.
Like
Yeah, I'm out on
like OG, like 90s Batman.
Yeah, and it's like
vibes.
they brought back all those good vibes and like made it into like a sharp show.
How's the voice?
Very good.
Yeah.
It's the guy from Legion. He was like a side guy in the show Legion. I looked him up and I was like, who is this? But it's very good. Bruce Wayne sounds like the original, and I guess it is like it was built on the back of that animated series show, I guess.
Okay.
But it's also not, because it's like the characters like are different. Like
Yeah.
Variations.
I saw a female penguin.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Like kind of like an Elseworlds kind of. It's the same, but it's not.
Exactly, and you get like a Two-Face origin story.
Okay.
Which was like, and it's like it's like more like realistic in a cartoon.
This is a full show.
Yeah, and they're like hour-long episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Microsoft AI Copilot helps so much, because we already talked about Batman Cape Crusader a little bit, so I might as well get a little bit more into it. An animated television series that reimagines the Batman mythos with a noir-inspired approach. The series was developed by Bruce Timm, known for work on Batman the Animated Series, along with J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves.
Okay.
The show's produced by Bad Robot Productions, Sixth and Idaho Motion Picture Company, Warner Brothers, and DC. It premiered August 1st on Amazon Prime Video. The voice cast includes Harmish Linklater as Batman, with other notable voices like Christina Ricci as Catwoman. And Don Donahue as Clayface. And that's the Batman, the Cape Crusader on Prime. I can't give it enough. I'll say a 3.8.
Huh. Christina Ricci.
Out of 4.
Huh?
Out of 4.0. Thank you. Yes, always.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm
can't
so
believe
in.
I'm not seeing more about this.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's getting buried.
I'm a
with
couple
J.J.
episodes in.
Abrams.
The only thing that's been on the TV is Deadpool Wolverine for 2 months.
Right.
True.
All right, speaking of which, are you guys ready? Are you ready to talk about this movie? I'm ready. I'll
let's
guide
go.
us.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. Yeah, more F-bombs on Mostly Superheroes. Welcome back to the podcast. Full recap, full spoiler alert. We have already talked about this movie and what to know about before you get into it. A little recapping the Fox properties and the relationships. Go check out those episodes. Today's about what happened in the movie and what could happen in the future. This is Mostly Superheroes. Welcome back to the show. This is Mostly Superheroes in St. Louis, Missouri, indie podcast. I'm Logan, here with Andy the Giggler, Scotty Scoop. Welcome back. Let's do a little round table and say hello. Scotty Scoop, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I wish I would have seen this movie again.
How many times?
Twice.
How many times, Andy?
Same.
Welcome back, Giggler.
Same.
And I'll sneak in Logan, too. Hey, what's up, everybody?
Oh,
Hey!
hi, Logan. Good.
It's me, Logan.
It only took 2 applauses to get all 3 of us. You saw it twice. I saw it twice. Alamo Drafthouse, first time for us. What was your first time?
B&B in Wildwood.
B&B, and then we all saw it at the Screen and Social at Ronnie's. What a huge success. Huntington's Disease Society of America, we owe you a check, and we'll get it to you. Don't worry. We can't wait. We raised funds for our show and for them at Ronnie's. 40 or so of our best friends came and won some amazing prizes from people all over town, and then saw this in a private movie theater. What was your experience, Andy? Did you have a good time at Ronnie's?
Absolutely. Like you said, all the best friends there had a nice little breakfast. Saw the movie that I loved how I had seen it already. Like, you know, sitting next to my wife who hadn't. So just seeing her reaction to a bunch of the stuff was just awesome. As well as just afterwards, just a lot of the people that I invited, like, one person never even seen an MCU movie like in theaters before. So this is a great place to start, and all for Huntington's disease that hits close to my heart. Honestly, one of my favorite Sundays I've ever had.
Yeah, and you're pretty much the liaison for us with the local group. So thanks for helping out, getting us the materials to lay out there, and yeah, good movie for a good cause. I mean, we'll definitely be doing more screen and social. Scotty, you and Shanna came, had a good time. How was your experience?
It was great. Might have to tell Sam he can no longer take the title of the sleeper. Shanna fell asleep.
Oh no, this is embarrassing. Well, it's not that embarrassing.
Yeah,
it's embarrassing to I think it's enough for everybody to go.
Yeah,
but then when you think about it, like there were comfortable chairs. It was a cool theater.
Sunday morning.
It was a Sunday morning. Absolutely.
I made her get up at what time did we have to get there? Like 8:45.
I mean, 8:45. Yeah, that could be early on a Sunday.
I mean, that's not early for me. It's early for Shanna.
I totally get it. I mean, we had other friends there that were hungover and still looked me in the face and said, "I'm here." And I was like, "I know you are." And that was really powerful to me. So appreciate, even though Shanna fell asleep. Hope she had a good sleep.
Just like 5 minutes.
Okay.
I looked over and I could see her eyes closed, and I was like, "Hey, you're going to want to watch this."
You're going to want to watch this.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Well, we did not fall asleep.
Absolutely,
we did not Sam the Sleeper this one. And Team Jakey, another sponsor, the Gramophone, another sponsor of our Screen and Social this year. They made it possible to keep the tickets affordable, to get some prizes donated. So thank you guys. And Deadpool Wolverine is why we're here. We mentioned it in the intro. We have talked about the leading up to the film. You know, if you haven't seen it yet, get ready, because we're going to give that spoiler alert right now.
There we go. Oh, yeah.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, man, we saw it. We cannot wait. Listen, a little bit, though, about who made it. We got to give it up because we had a lot of fun with it. Deadpool, created by Rob. How do you say his last name?
Liefeld.
Thanks, guys. I always say Liefeld. It's not what it is. If you're one of those and you're like me, say it again.
Liefeld.
What to go. Wolverine, created by, little trivia for you, Scotty, who? John Romita Sr.
Oh. Really?
Senior.
Okay.
Well, we know Junior. This is Papa.
Of course. John Romita Jr. is one of my favorite artists. JR.
That's right. So this is his dad.
Yeah.
His dad did this. And the movie itself, Deadpool and Wolverine, starring Ryan Reynolds, bringing it back for the third time, Deadpool, and Hugh Jackman, the huge return. Fourth time. Because
the Wolverine? X-Men Origins Wolverine.
If you want to get technical, this could be fun, because he's been Deadpool on screen, and it also gets weird with which times, because it's not just movies with him. You know, he's in commercials. He's in Jack in the Box. He's doing The Bachelorette. He also was in, he had his mouth closed in the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie.
Yeah.
That was the OG bad one. Then Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, Once Upon a Deadpool.
Yeah.
And also, I remember there was also when Fox officially got purchased by Disney. You guys might remember a clip with him and Korg.
Yeah.
He was on the couch with Korg, and they were promoting, I don't know, maybe the new Thor movie or something.
It was probably Thor.
But they had him, and they were like, okay. And that was when he entered the MCU. Now he's fully entered. This is a Disney flick. This is a Marvel flick. It's directed by Sean Levy, and it's made by Marvel Studios. I mean, the same people that made Iron Man. So if we're one of these people that were a little confused about the properties and the ownership, you're not alone. We did a whole episode about that with Maurice from Mount My MFTV. He came on, and it was a perfect F-bomb filled episode where we got ready for this one. Now we're here to talk about the movie. Let's talk about the box office and the budget. The budget they're claiming was only $200 million, and they're claiming that only $100 million were spent on marketing opportunities, and it's hard to believe.
Well, I mean, you think it's hard to believe, but do you think...
It seems like it's more, by the way, double if you're asking me.
Do you think Marvel paid Jack in the Box to make a commercial Absolutely not.
Well, you're saying it because in the commercial they even make the joke that like Jack paid a lot for that spot.
right.
So they paid, in theory, Marvel or
Yeah.
Disney for like that because they wanted to be a part of it. But like that Ryan Reynolds or whoever the promotional team on this is reached out to Jack in the Box as part of their strategy and offered them maybe a deal.
Right.
To where
Absolutely.
it's just
like, hey, we're trading here.
it's just a deal at that point. It's like, hey, for X amount of dollars, Deadpool will wear a Jack in the Box full head and talk in it with an echo voice. Okay.
Like, do you think Marvel was paying aviation gin for branded aviation bottles?
Well, that's-
absolutely
yeah.
not.
That's a unique one too, because it's Ryan Reynolds' gin,
Sure.
but it's also
Yeah.
Disney now. I think that's what brings it all to the table. Is like this is such a mainstream, so it feels like Deadpool's making it to the mainstream. They did it, like they brought him in. They're like, all right, he's with Disney. He's going to be in a Volkswagen car. Yeah, I don't know if he was. He probably did a car commercial. I didn't see it. They did a podcast.
It's got to be a minivan.
Yeah. And
Oh yeah, duh.
These are two well-connected
Honda
Hollywood
Odyssey.
stars. Like they have connections to make this stuff happen, and I know like they are going to benefit from how huge and how much money this movie makes.
Yeah, it's a
So by-
symbiotic relationship for sure.
right. Yeah. By like aviation gin being involved, like that just only makes more money for everyone involved. It's kind of genius by all parties.
Well, and let's talk about how it did. Huge opening weekend. Pre-order sales broke the record. Eric Davis from Rotten Tomatoes has reported it's the highest rated R movie of all time.
Passion
highest
of the Christ.
grossing. Say it again.
Passion of the Christ. It beat Passion of the Christ.
It beat Passion of the Christ. So
beat Jesus.
He's officially Marvel Jesus. We've already given that spoiler alert, and they'll be snuck in all along. Currently, as of today, August 6th, it looks like it's at around $879 million worldwide. Just approaching that billion, which was my guess, by the way.
And we're just at 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're at 2 weeks. This has been 2 weekends of the movie.
Tomorrow would be,
And here we go. We'll see what happens. People are showing up. Brandon Davis was just on the podcast. You're going to hear from him in this episode. You're going to hear from Logan Winter Cosplay's dad, Emmanuel, talking about his experience of the movie. People talking about seeing it multiple times, just like us, going back and seeing it again and again. And honestly, like if you're online, it's inescapable. Like you cannot.
Oh yeah.
See
If you haven't seen it yet, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is well. Don't worry. We're talking about it within the safe silo here. We've given that spoiler alert, but the spoilers are out there online
for sure.
I mean, it's just like it's plugging the pictures. And Ryan Reynolds has a full marketing like schedule with like these tweets going out with like him talking about the specific cameos and working with specific like writers, and he's just like it's like not done. They're like I've never seen like such like online like guerrilla tactics where like one entity took over like 100+ channels. And again, if you're following this stuff, of course that's all I'm seeing on my feed, right?
The
like,
algorithm
when I'm
is
logged
coming for you for sure.
When I'm logged in as mostly superheroes, especially, like of course I'm seeing it. But I'm just saying though, like it'll be like a tweet 1 hour ago, like a tweet 1 hour ago.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, they are not messing around. And I know Ryan Reynolds isn't just on his phone tapping away either.
Right.
Like they got Hootsuite or something, and they got like a person doing this. But that's also, I think, I don't know. I've got a whole side of this from the audience. You know, people that are close to it, we were pumped. But what did it feel like for people that didn't really know superhero movies?
Yeah.
It had to be like kind of crazy to see like, these superheroes on your Jack in the Box order. But here we are. That's where the movie's headed. We'll keep you posted on if it reaches that billion. And
it will.
It will. And I want to just get right into the story, man, and not mess around. We've already done recaps on leading up to this. So opening up what happened in Deadpool and Wolverine, let's do it.
It's a long fade.
Man, it's really pretty too. It's just so beautiful. Ryan Reynolds brings Deadpool back in this movie, and I just want to jump right in. The biggest things that we've addressed are going to be addressed in the film, and this is one, if you're listening to us in your podcast app, that's great, but we have some great graphics up on the screen so you can watch it. And one of the biggest things that people wanted to know immediately is, how are you going to handle bringing back Hugh Jackman's Wolverine? Like, are you going to just crap on this legacy? Are you going to do it right? And in the announcement video, when they announced that Hugh Jackman was coming back, they sat on that couch and he's like, do you want to play Wolverine again? They sat down and explained, we are not going to, trash this legacy. It takes place in a different time. Don't worry. that the Marvel Studios
Immediately.
the intro runs, it's playing the music, and you hear Deadpool singing over it in the background, just doing his thing. He's like, "Oh, I love that intro music." And how you're wondering, how are we going to bring Logan back without disrespecting him? Oh, we're not.
Yeah.
Kick over the X-grave from from Logan, dig up the grave.
Yeah.
Find the
He's
body.
not dead.
He's not dead.
He's not dead.
That's not how regenerative powers work.
Right.
And let's find him. And you hear the dink. And of course he's dead. But what does this look like on screen? A adamantium skeleton with just a little hair left, but other than that, nothing else left. The flesh is gone, and this is the body, and this is the opening sequence of Deadpool fighting using these things as weapons, and this is your entry to the movie, right? Like, welcome back, it's a Deadpool movie. Bye 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 is playing. What's going on? He eventually does get the claws into his hands and gets to kind of pretend to be Wolverine for a little while. Scott, what were you thinking during this part? Is this like what you expected them to do, like out of the gate? Like, let's get this over with?
Man, I mean, I had so many high expectations, but I didn't really know what they were. I was like, this is going to be great, but I did my best to stay extremely spoiler-free.
Absolutely.
So I didn't really know what to expect.
Good.
Going in.
So this is just like jaw on the
and
ground
it,
at this point.
it was just like, hey, what are they doing? This is crazy.
Bye, bye, bye. And he's
oh,
like,
yeah, of
he's
course.
like, sorry, I'm bad at Wolverining. And he's
Yeah.
like hitting the one guy and the other guy.
And of course, I'm sitting in my theater chair, and I'm like, bye, 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 and I'm doing the dance in my head.
Yeah.
And the giant man sitting next to me is probably like, what is this guy doing? And I'm into the song.
Yeah,
Dude.
absolutely.
For sure.
Or, go ahead, Andy.
I 100% agree. I had 207 bones in my body at that time. I'll tell you that.
Line from the movie. We'll try to mix in some fun facts. This was, I believe, the choreographer that like came up with the dance. Like, he's in the Deadpool suit. Ryan Reynolds confirmed. Like, that's not me.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did a couple parts, but for the most part, I think that's a dancer. Okay.
You can see a lot of the fun, like behind the scenes, like training and stuff, videos online now.
Yeah. Oh,
of
everything.
that stuff.
Yeah, everything. Well, from the Merc with the mouth that got leaked from that Deadpool 1 movie, that who did it?
Yeah.
And it was Ryan Reynolds, supposedly. Like, it's like the same philosophy. Get the stuff out. The nerds want to see it. Who cares? I feel like that's what Ryan Reynolds says.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily for it. Like, I did also stay away from the trailers, as per usual. And as per usual, in this movie, this is how they open it. So you're just kind of dropped into this Deadpool fighting TVA agents.
TVA, yeah.
Like, we know that the doors open up. It's the time doors, TVA outfits, the pruning devices, and just a slaughtering. He just kills them like nothing, just like easily. For fans that don't know, you don't know. You're just like, what are these guys?
Yeah.
And in Deadpool fashion, how'd we get here? How'd we get here? And flash over to, it's kind of like Deadpool acknowledging for the first time Disney bought us, and he's sitting down in a job interview, and he's got his, he looks the same. He's got the bad skin, and he's telling someone that he needs a fresh start. He's been a bad mercenary for a long time. His girlfriend's no longer having it, and this is where I think it is good to be the fan that knows what's going on, and that's where we're going to stay today, is you're coming off that Deadpool 2 movie. So the time travel watch, he reset everything. He saved Vanessa. He saved his friends, and he's okay. And this is presumably, I think they say 6 years later.
2018 is when they flash back.
They flash back.
And that was when the last Deadpool movie happened.
It actually happened that year.
2018, yeah.
It's happening real time. So it's like 6 years have gone by, and it's since then. His life's like, okay, but it's not great. Vanessa's leaving him, and he's interviewing with none other than Jon Favreau's Happy Hogan.
Happy Hogan.
You talk about Marvel Jesus. I mean, if Kevin Feige's Marvel God, Jon Favreau might be Marvel Jesus. Okay, he was there in the beginning with that Marvel Studios run of Iron Man, and brought so much of what the tone is in the MCU that has sustained. And here is Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, Wade Wilson, interviewing to be an Avenger, saying, let me on the team. I got to do something better with my life. I want to use my skills. And it's a hilarious banter. It also addresses a lot of things like the MCU is real. And this is where it got even confusing for me as a fan. Deadpool has jumped over to the sacred timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Earth 616?
616.
From his universe, which they're calling 1005,
And it was 10,005.
10,005, and that's the Fox universe, right? presumably. Yeah, and it's definitely a hodgepodge. I watched an amazing video from New Rockstars that's going to definitely make its way into this podcast as we talk about timeline. We have it linked up in the description. New Rockstars video. It's like 19 minutes. It helped me out. And even after like getting clarity on it, it's one of those things that like you almost get like feel more confused after, you know. Deadpool at the end of the day kind of does like an effort, you know, to some of this canon stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
You
you just have to suspend your disbelief
And
and
just
roll with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's meeting Happy Hogan. He's in the MCU. He wants to be an Avenger. How does he get to this like other universe, you might ask? It seems like, you know, what I learned from this new Rockstar video, the cable device works to jump universes. There's proof of that. He did it in Deadpool 2 when he got the watch and he went to like our world and shot Ryan Reynolds before he became Green Lantern.
Back to the original Deadpool appearance
in
Wolverine.
Yes, he can. So it proved in theory that okay, it can do that, no problem. He says, "Hey, listen, you're too big for your britches. You need to like work your way up." And so what's he do? He staples a wig to his head. He has a hair system, and it's really funny. We have it up on the screen, and he's working at like a CarMax,
used car.
Like, it looks like a CarMax, but it's called something for branding differences. And he's selling cars with Peter. Remember Peter from Deadpool 2?
Yes.
Two best buddies. He's been there for years. You know, Vanessa and him are broke up. It's his birthday, but he doesn't mind. He's like, I don't mind working here, even though it's killing me. I'm not Deadpool anymore. I'm just taking a break. And he goes back to his apartment. This is where we see the old crew. We see Vanessa and
Yukio.
Yukio and Negasonic
Teenage Warhead.
Colossus.
Yeah.
And Star. The guy in the Shatterstar. Peter, of course, with his pierced nipples and penis.
Yeah, Blind Owl.
Owl.
Oh, my God.
And who do we not have? Cable. He said he didn't test well with audiences, is what he told Happy Hogan. TJ Miller, nowhere.
No.
Oh, yeah. He's been canceled.
Because he's canceled?
Yeah, he was cut off. Yeah,
Probably.
for sure.
Oh, wow. I haven't heard this.
That makes sense. I don't remember what he did, but
wow.
Yeah, just
Andy's like, I agree with it, but I don't know what happened.
I mean, I never said I agreed
He's a
with
comedian.
it.
Just did some off-color stuff,
but
I think.
Well, can't ignore a huge part of those first two movies.
Yeah.
Okay. But like Cable, no, Josh Brolin, like it's not gonna happen. All right. But TVA knocks on the door. TVA, we know Loki. They say we need you to come with us. He gets there. We meet Paradox. This is the guy from Succession. Tom
Wamsgans, baby.
Way to go.
Straight out of the show too. Like it seemed like the same guy from most of the movie.
I am the Mercy Killer. And why do I say this? What is this line? He explains to Deadpool, you're special. The TVA has pulled you out because you're special. He's like, okay, so it's not because of my time travel stuff with my watch. No. It's because you have this ability to like talk to other universes and know about other universes, what it kind of seems like to me. And not only that, though, we have news that your universe, that 10,005, where you came from, is deteriorating. It's dying. It's going.
Lost its anchor being.
Its anchor being has died. Deadpool thinks it's him. He's like, I haven't died.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Can you imagine? And who is it? None other than Logan. All right. Now, skipping a couple key parts here. What are we looking at? The TVA, a bunch of TV screens. And this is where, hey, man, welcome to the MCU. Ryan, Wade Wilson
breaks the fourth wall
big time. Says like, I'm in Disney, fuck you Fox, headbutts the camera, and he's like, full cameos, I want the full works. He's like, take a look, and you see the Avengers, you see Captain America, and then you see Thor crying, holding Deadpool. And he's like, why is he crying?
Thor? Why?
Any
why
theories?
Are you crying?
Any theories, Scott, as a comic book fan? Why is he crying?
I do believe this was a scene from a previous Thor movie,
Dark World.
That just had Deadpool superimposed on it.
No, but I don't think so.
I've heard.
No, that's not it.
I've heard.
No, it's real. It's like,
you think this is something that's really gonna happen from like Secret Wars, maybe?
Bucky's arm. All right,
Bucky's arm.
Yeah, whenever Rocket meets Bucky Barnes and he's in Infinity War, he goes, I'll get that arm. And he does in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. I think that like sometimes Marvel pays these things off. And also Ryan Reynolds has tweeted, I know why Thor was crying and I can't unknow it.
Huh.
Oh yeah,
All right.
it's gonna come back for sure. But I think there was I've read in a article somewhere that there was a rumor back in the day that Ryan Reynolds wanted to just make a shot for shot remake of The Dark World with Deadpool in it as Deadpool 3, which I think that was probably just a joke taken like as a potential like rumor.
Yeah,
But that, I mean, this could be kind of a reference to that.
it
In
is
the same way that like I think the Honda Odyssey was a reference to like there was talks of the movie just being them on like a road trip many years ago.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, and Ryan Reynolds talked about Carrie read an article actually and shared it with me where it was he had planned to do that. He had planned to shoot like this whole buddy movie where it actually was like no one knew it was Deadpool Wolverine, and it was just like maybe Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and on a road trip, and like he wanted to promote it like that the whole time and like get people to the theater, and then when you hit play, the Marvel intro would run.
Nice.
But obviously, like Disney was like, we'll miss out on all the dollar signs. But I mean, you take the chance on something like that, it might pay off. People would go see it, I think.
for Deadpool, it would make sense over anything else with the fourth wall for sure.
All right, so speaking of that fourth wall, he's like, yeah, you are special, but yeah, the anchor being Logan has died. We know this in 2017 Logan. They show the scene. I mean, I had the goosebumps watching the scene on the screen.
Yeah.
Like, and all the people in the TVA are like looking up, and he's like,
just like so proud.
I'm about to start crying already. It's like, this is what it feels like. Like, it's just like hits so hard.
Yeah.
Like it's a fictional character that like can't die, and that like gets me. Like, how could anyone relate to that? Like, he's like probably 300 years old in that movie. But since he died, that 10,005 universe, it's just fallen apart. And Paradox, it would take like 1,000 years, but he says, I don't want to wait that long. I created a machine to do it.
His job is to monitor that universe falling apart.
He wants to prune it.
Yeah, well, he's like, I don't want to sit here and watch this.
And he's going back to pruning. You know, in theory, it's like people don't like that anymore. You know, that in Loki we learned that they used to just destroy the universes.
Right.
Now, just a spoiler alert for all this stuff, Loki is like the god of stories and rewrote a little bit of how this worked, and they don't prune this stuff anymore, like Paradox says. He's a rogue agent, right? And it's really cool tease for like foreshadowing for like some TVA familiar faces to come on the screen, which we do totally get. I might need some help with her name, actually.
You're not going to get that help from me.
I need some help. She's great. She was hilarious. And
B-52, something like that.
B-52, yeah, absolutely.
Is that right? Hunter B-52.
Hunter B-52. She's like now like kind of in charge. It's cool. All right, so then Deadpool's like, so you're going to Old Yeller my universe?
Hunter B-15.
Yeah. Nice.
I got the number.
Well, B-52 is the bomber.
Yeah.
It's also the band.
I know. I was like,
Love Shack.
I knew I had the Love Shack going on there somewhere.
Okay, so
he's invented a machine,
and he's like
quicken this situation.
And he's like, and Deadpool hears this. He's like, okay, I'll do it. And Paradox is like, all right, good. He's like, no, I meant go find a Wolverine and come back and kill you and break your nose. And he breaks his nose,
steals his Tempad,
and jumps down. And we had like the funny scenes. He's like, where he gets his brand new suit, his brand new Disney suit. You know, it's top notch. We had just the slapping of the butt, like
adamantium katanas.
I got adamantium katanas. He's like, this thing is beautiful. He's like, your tailor is a
predator,
a predator. And this guy knows what I'm talking about. Just like this chubby guy, like in a work outfit, just like mouth open, like, oh my god, jumps at him butt first.
Yeah, you gonna call your wife? I'm calling HR. Does your wife work in HR?
And all right, man, I planned it perfectly. All the Wolverines. Deadpool decides it's time to go out and find a Wolverine to replace the one that died in Logan. All right, you got to bring a Wolverine back to this universe, and it'll save it for you. Okay, so he takes the TVA machine, handheld thing, and starts jumping multiverses. And here we go, a montage of
montage.
The first up, Short King Wolverine is how I'm definitely referring to an amazing video clip that I watched that helped. They talk through all these. Screen Rant. It's linked up in this episode, so we'll do it quickly. But if you want to know about the comics and more like that, like all of it's tucked in, Short King Wolverine, Scott, the first one, right? The little guy
on the bar stool.
on the bar looks like a normal Wolverine, but then hops down and he's what, 4'8",
Not much taller than the bar stool.
yeah, so tiny, but like isn't backing down either. I liked it.
Right.
He's like, what do you want, bub? And then Wolverine decides on that alone, he's out.
Yeah. Nope.
I couldn't believe it just because of height.
Yeah.
Height.
They didn't really address it.
That's classic fastball special. You get the little tiny Wolverine and Colossus throwing him.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Like, yeah. Oh my God. Okay. And then we get, I'm trying to do them in order. Then we get Patch Wolverine, I think. This is like literally what it sounds like. Like,
he's got an eye patch.
Yes.
Spends a lot of time doing what he's doing there.
Playing cards.
Oh
my God. Looks so
Madripoor. A lot of time in Madripoor.
Cool. Ooh, throwback to Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yep.
When I see Madripoor on screen. How about Age of Apocalypse Wolverine?
Yeah, one-handed Wolverine.
And before I knew what he was actually called, this is the one where I called it like big hair 80s Wolverine. Like standing outside of the bar, looking like, I don't know the word, but it's like pouty. He was just like, and he jumps up and like, I mean, he jumped 20 feet in the air.
Oh, yeah.
Just, you know.
Age of Apocalypse Wolverine is crazy.
You're familiar?
Yes.
What else is going on in that world? That's what I mean, I wanted to stay in those world. I did not want to leave.
Yeah, it's an Elseworlds kind of thing where, Age of Apocalypse. He's taken over. He's in charge.
This can get so many people into comic books. Now
you've got to. There's all kinds of good stuff here.
Okay, how about all right, let's just jump to they do an old man Logan again.
Yeah.
But like this time he looked like so much like Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you almost thought it was even.
Classic.
But he's like on the porch, like with a hat. Like did that look classic from the comic?
For sure.
And I mean, that was great. We've seen it. That you saw Logan in 2017, but there's like there's an old man Logan.
Yes.
That hasn't really been on the screen.
It was loosely based on the comic book.
Yeah.
The movie.
All right, tell us about the crucified Wolverine.
Crucified Wolverine.
This was awesome. He's just up on a giant X. With
I don't remember why he was crucified.
And it's just like raining, like whatever, and it's red skulls, and he's just.
Yeah, they just left him there to die. I don't remember who it was.
It's the
why
cover.
they did it.
It's the cover of that comic. All right. Hey, listen, it's on the reading list.
It's gonna sell out fast now, for sure. Like I imagine like what this did to the value for just those covers or those episodes, like those issues.
How about this one?
Imagine
John Byrne, the brown and
yellow classic.
I feel like this is where they should have maybe stayed.
We get Ruffalo's Hulk.
Like he's like, didn't you fight the Hulk in this one?
Yeah.
Oh, and like it's just the shoulders.
You see the classic reflection in the claws of the Hulk face.
Oh man, that's a
classic cover
out of the comic.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they should have maybe stuck here, like with this suit.
For real.
Personally, I was like,
I love the brown and yellow suit.
It looked so good.
Yeah.
All right. And then, we got like a classic looking Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, like looking like with the motorcycle.
Working on a motorcycle.
Got flexing the arms. He's got the cigar. Cavalrine.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill. In the MCU.
Yeah.
Like just immediately as a Wolverine.
I mean, people were talking for a long time, like, Henry Cavill, he's coming. They cast him as someone. It was just a cameo.
I had no idea, though, still. I still was like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you think?
I mean, that's just the one of the biggest fourth wall breaks in the whole movie when he says the guy will treat you better than the assholes down the street.
Yeah, talking about DC Studios, pretty much firing him as Superman, essentially. Yeah. Zack Snyder tweeted about it, was like, I hired Henry and I'd hire him again. So he's like, he's still out here like, I'll do it. But James Gunn, I mean, I'd love to like talk to James if he'd be willing to talk about Henry Cavill, like just to know, like.
I blame The Rock.
You think so?
For all that.
I mean, they brought him back, and
The Rock brought him back.
I mean, I just watched Hobbs and Shaw, and I think sometimes The Rock gets a little carried away.
I think so.
People let him though.
Yeah. Oh, because he's The Rock.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say? No.
He's like, oh
yeah.
Well, Henry Cavill had a great Instagram post yesterday. Did you guys see this?
No.
He said there's a picture of his character, his cameo. Says, to be safe, I shaved the mustache off for this one. Just the mustache. And it's like, I mean, that sure as shit, like straight up. He's got a full beard, looks Man, I mean, he'd be a great Wolverine.
Oh, for
Facts.
sure.
That's 100. I mean, he is a great Wolverine. It's right there in front of us. But
And
I don't think it'll be any more appearances.
And we
Yeah.
we finally get to. I mean, I don't want it to be over either. Like you just wanted to hang out and like bounce around more.
Yeah, keep going.
But we find him, the worst Wolverine.
Yeah,
This is the one that's in the movie. The yellow suit you've seen. He finds him at a bar, and
drunk.
and no one likes him. The bartender says, like, you're not welcome anywhere.
The bartender from the first X-Men movie.
Get out.
Yeah,
Are you? Wow.
where he was bar fighting in the very first scene.
Wow.
The bar looked the same and everything.
I don't think the bar
Okay.
looked the same.
That's-
Oh man,
that's cool, though.
Now I'll go back and watch that. Jeez. And he's just wearing regular clothes for now. But Deadpool comments on it when he drinks his whiskey. He's like, "Watch this," and he makes himself pass out from just drinking whiskey. That was his trick. Just watch
Yeah.
me pass
Yeah.
out. And he goes, "Ooh, look at those jammies. That only took 20 years."
Yeah,
Amazing.
And this is it, man. The story kind of begins. These two are off, and it's save Deadpool's universe with this Wolverine.
well, he drags him back to the TVA.
Takes him back there and says, "Here
Says,
you go.
"Here you
I
go.
got
I
him.
got one."
I got one."
He's like, "What?"
That would never work. Paradox says.
Yeah.
It's like, you think that this would work? It won't.
Even if it did, you brought us the worst Wolverine.
This is the worst Wolverine.
You let down his entire timeline,
He's just
his whole universe.
his whole universe, the whole world, and then you'll throw back to Loki. Hits him with the
Boom.
stick, and
Pruned.
they're pruned and sent to what's it called?
The Void.
The Void.
The Void, the home of Aliath. You know, this is
Eliath.
where Eliath. This is where pretty much all the trash ends up.
Yeah.
From Loki season 1, episode 5.
Yes, that fourth wall break. That is what is going to save this MCU. I'm telling you, is Deadpool just leaning over to the audience and going like, "It's this, it's this."
Yeah.
And I mean, pretty big cameo right away. And we're just in full spoiler town now, man. I'm not going to bury the lead on any of these. Chris Evans, Fantastic Four, flame on! Oh, flame! He goes. He's gonna say it. He's gonna say it. Avengers, flame on!
Flame on.
And it's him,
Yeah.
man, from the original Fantastic Four.
They totally play it up when he's up there and on the sign. You know, he's got his hand out. You can kind of see the blue, a little bit of red. Looks like a character called Nomad, Captain America.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and
So you think, and he's like, hey, and he goes,
jumps down, does this superhero landing.
He goes, that's a superhero landing.
This is where Steph goes, "Steve?" And I was like, "Aw, you're about to be so
And
disappointed."
Let's say it.
But
Scotty
not.
Scoop called it specifically.
Oh,
I
like
listened
a
to
year
our
ago.
I listened to our episode. It was just a few months ago.
Okay,
But yeah, but
it's been in my head for a year for sure.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Long time.
That's fair. And you called it. Not. I thought maybe you just called Chris Evans. I listened to the episode. You said it. You said Chris Evans as
Johnny
Storm
Poor
right there on
Johnny.
screen. Oh,
Poor
my-
Johnny.
Johnny. He goes, "Oh, here they come." And what in the world is this? Please tell me if you guys are like, I only recognized a handful of people. Mad Max makes its way to the MCU. And
You
it's
get
like a
Caravan of characters.
of mutants, you know.
Yeah.
We got Pyro.
Sabretooth, Pyro,
Those are the
Toad.
Toad. Yep. Those are the big three. Those are the
yeah.
big three.
You get some others when they eventually make it back to the camp.
And
but
there's a little flame
there-
on scene. They
you
fight.
See, you see Sabretooth, you know, he's like
It's the same actor
from the first one.
from the first X-Men.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Logan doesn't apparently know who he is.
Or I don't know. They kind of seem like they do.
But
They're like looking at each-
Sabretooth knew exactly who he was.
Right. Yeah. He definitely did.
Yeah.
But he kind of looks at him like, okay.
Like, yeah, let's do this.
And then Deadpool says, like, people, you know, this is after, by the way, we get the put on your sock nerds, your special sock nerds, and then we get Deadpool versus Wolverine to kick it off. Like, you know, just kind of like starting at the big
Full
stuff and
out.
working back to some other stuff. Like, full out, put on your special sock nerds.
in front of the 20th Century Fox sign.
Yeah.
And-
That is-
Yes.
like everyone had seen that, so like getting that out of the way early, I was like, okay, good. Let's see what this movie's gonna do now.
Yeah, if that's here, what else is hanging around? You know, like who's going to be showing up? And I mean, this is where the movie is, like the tone of the Fox. This is the Fox sign off, right? You're going to get a lot of this stuff. So, I mean, the fight scene was great. I was a big fan of what they were doing with Wolverine.
Yeah.
Bringing in some CGI to give him some like moves.
Yeah,
making him,
we've never seen him like we saw a little bit in Logan, but this was such an older version of Wolverine.
He couldn't hardly do anything.
Yes.
We
saw his clone really kind of go out.
That was awesome.
And then we saw him all roided up at the end kind of go off as well. But
yeah. And
you know, we never got like down on all fours, galloping at your enemy kind of feralness.
Yes. And I feel like maybe it's been always this way in the comics. I'd love to know. Like for me, watching the Deadpool movies, like he always obviously comments on Wolverine, but like I think it's because they're so similar with their regenerative powers. Like they're the only two that like heal like that. That's like the big thing they have in common. So I really think at the core, like that's where all of this hinges on. Don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Like it really all started with like, it's like we're so like in terms of mutants, those two are really close. And then he obviously loves Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. So in those first two movies, he did always reference Hugh. He did the mask.
Yeah.
He's like, we're gonna get him back in here. You know, in Deadpool 2, all of it. But that, it's just interesting. And then to see him fight and to see how it would go down with the guns and the adamantium versus adamantium, that was real payoff.
Yeah, bullets just coming out of him when he's healing.
That was
a really cool scene.
It was like the payoff to like that, like the bullets popping out. Like that's always been classic, Hugh Wolverine.
There's one comes out of the mouth.
Yes.
There's a surprising lack of Deadpool regeneration in this movie, but I guess it's just because timing. Like this didn't.
We know
all
how
the
it
events
works.
of this movie didn't take place over a very long period of time. So
you're right. It was like
can't have him just growing his legs or
his legs or his arm back.
I think they didn't want to take that time.
Yeah.
Well, it is funny though because they did do it in the first two.
Well, and they did it to one of the other Deadpools towards the end of the movie.
Oh right.
One of the Deadpool Corps, which we'll get to.
Absolutely. Okay.
Johnny Storm thinks he's gonna light it up. Flies up in the air, flame on.
Fights Pyro.
Yeah, shoots his fire right at Pyro, who just absorbs it, and he drops from the sky.
Lands on his nuts.
Lands on his nuts. It's
on a billboard.
Hits a railing, and then face plants onto the ground, folded backwards.
Bends in half.
I thought he was dead then.
I thought they killed him immediately, which I was fine with. It was funny.
Right.
But they're not done yet. They're in the little cage, and they capture Deadpool and Wolverine. After Wolverine cuts off Sabretooth's head, they do fight. He cuts off his head immediately.
We turn on a giant, I guess, electromagnet.
And
sticks them right in there.
Yep. And they're trapped, and this is where, we learn about Cassandra Nova, the big bad of the movie. Someone help me out with this actress's name.
First, they take
This is right. They're in this like circular cage, and they kind of learn about Cassandra Nova, but they don't really know her name yet. And they get to the fortress, which is the Ant-Man, the giant
Ant-Man, who theories are that this was the giant Ant-Man from the last Ant-Man movie,
like
where he was in the vortex with all the other Ant-Men.
Yes, yeah, and like one got away.
One kind of like diffused, the giant one.
I bet they get Ant-Man all the time.
Yeah, probably.
The way that they talk about this stuff. How do they do it? They open up the hands, they let them in.
Awesome.
The mask opens. It's a giant skull. Right, right.
Paul Rudd finally aged.
Yes. And out comes in a wheelchair like a bald person, and
Chuck.
Deadpool's like, is that Chuck? Is that Charles? No, it's his sister. What's up, y'all? Cassandra Nova, bald. I got psychic powers, but I got to touch you to kind of make it go down, but pretty much indestructible. And, she tried to devour Charles in the womb, or
tried to kill Charles tried to choke him with their umbilical cord.
And the TVA got a hold of her before she was 1, and she grew up in the void.
Yeah.
Which means there's like definitely other Cassandra Novas out there
for sure.
causing all sorts of chaos. And we get this is like a taste of their powers, putting her hand in their faces and, reading Deadpool's mind, putting Wolverine like literally into the ground and like shooting him across. And then just before that, obviously,
poor Johnny.
Deadpool, telling that Johnny said all these horrible things about her, hilarious rants, and she kills him, pulls his
skin right off,
and he just falls apart.
Just a puddle of bones and blood.
Fantastic Four nerfed again.
Oh my God! Is this one where you worry about your kids seeing this?
Well, yeah, not so much.
No, that's kind of just like
it's kind of cartoonish.
It's cartoony.
It's kind of biology. This is what the inside of a body looks like.
Yes.
totally. Just biology lesson.
No big deal. No big deal.
This is
But
what the inside of Johnny
yeah.
Storm looks like.
yeah, Matt Shackman has his work cut out for him in the Fantastic Four movie because, I mean, just look at how the Fantastic Four on screen have. One was turned into spaghetti and one had his skin just ripped off his body. So,
Oh my god.
but honestly, that's total tangent, but Comic-Con just showed how good that movie's going to be, I think. So,
Yeah,
hooray.
I can't wait. And seeing the old characters makes you like excited for the new stuff even.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's talk about the cameos you see here. Like they're at Cassandra Nova's place. I mean, you got a Juggernaut, like a different actor, but like the same kind of big helmet. You got. I feel like there was like a bishop in there, like a
I don't
bad.
think there was a bishop. I think we got some.
A bishop looking one. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Who can you remember? There was a
Azazel.
Azazel. Yeah, the devil.
Yeah,
looking guy.
we got Lady Deathstrike with the fingers with the adamantium
Yes.
claws.
Yeah, from
X2?
The Last Stand or X2.
X2,
yeah. Yep, she's in there, and then like a bunch sprinkled in. Like
Yeah.
there's a bunch of.
We
like,
had the Russian from The Punisher, which was originally it was Kevin Nash,
Oh, wow.
and they had recasted him.
Azazel was one.
Yeah, Azazel
Yep,
from
That was one.
X-Men.
And then that, what was it?
that was First Class.
First Class.
Did you say Psylocke already? Which
No,
I thought.
Psylocke? I don't remember.
thought I
saying
saw.
Psylocke. There was.
but you may have. There was a lot mixed. They were
Yeah.
tucked in
Yeah,
like that, and there was like
and
probably
they were
40.
all like recast,
and also
so they
played
look
down
a little different
and played down
because they recast them. They're like, oh, we're
Yes.
not going to play this up
yeah,
because this is a different person, but we
Yes.
want you to think it's kind of the same person.
exactly,
Yeah.
totally. Like that's exactly how it felt too. It totally felt like that. And in the middle of it, it's Cassandra Nova, who you don't really know, but she's just she says it. I've been living here. I like to rule here, and we get to where. Okay, so they exit. She's like, "I'm gonna kill you guys. I've decided. I'm over this."
Eliath shows up.
Here comes Eliath. He's
It's
gonna
time to
eat-
pay the rent.
pay the rent. Like if I give
You're
you
the rent.
if I give you Eliath, I'm good. There's a sentinel
A
foot
sentinel leg. Yeah.
like in the thing. Wolverine kicks it, and it shoots them, and they escape, and they end up just being on their own, wandering the void for a while. And this is where we meet Nice Pool, the first variant Deadpool to show up, and he's exactly what he sounds like. Nice Pool.
Second Deadpool variant, because before that we got Dogpool.
Oh yeah, that's the first one with the running, and he's got this the ugliest dog in Britain got cast as this dog.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Can I get an applause for Dogpool?
Oh sure, Stephanie needs it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Stephanie messaged me on Instagram and was like, "This is important,"
Yeah.
and it was an article about this ugliest dog from Britain being in this movie with its
Mary
crooked face.
Poppins.
Mary Poppins, now AKA Dogpool.
Dogpool.
And then here comes the nice version of Deadpool, Nice Pool, long hair, no messed up skin, katanas, and
Dogpool's papa.
what's on his hips?
The gold plated Desert Eagles.
Yes.
He goes, "Can I have them?" He goes, "No."
No.
Can I have your
I
dog?
yeah, he said something like over my dead body or something like that. So that was kind of
He's like,
maybe some foreshadowing.
Yeah.
yes. And he's like, "You should see Lady Pool. We're getting teased of this." And then he says, "Hey, you guys can use my van to go and figure out this universe stuff." So he gives him this what kind of Honda
Odyssey.
the
yeah.
worst vehicle ever,
Yeah.
according to Deadpool. We get the crazy fight scene of them in the woods fighting each other to death, like just fighting.
But he promises Wolverine that if we get back to the TVA,
You'll fix
they
my-
can fix your timeline
send you back in time and like fix it or something.
to whatever terrible thing happened. We can
Yes,
fix it.
We can fix it.
Well, now he comes clean.
Yeah, he says if we can.
Yeah, if we can.
And and we get this great dialogue between Deadpool gets shut up kind of for the first time ever with this long, really beautiful rant from Wolverine saying like you're an idiot. You don't know what you're doing.
You're useless.
You're useless. You couldn't even get the love of a stripper.
Yeah, couldn't keep a stripper.
Oh.
And that hits just so hard too. Again, like these are fake characters, but it like you feel it. And then they just tear each other apart so much to the point where they're like passed out now.
Yeah.
They're like actually sleeping. And someone takes their van back to this bunker. Who is it? They wake up. I mean, I loved how it took us into this bunker and there was like a bathtub and like a dirty like bed. And
Yeah.
I was like, what?
A bunch of liquor.
And you're trying to piece together like, who am I seeing? Who you would have never guessed.
Yeah.
I mean, we did. All right. So we did call these, I think, in a way, but I was
some of them.
But I think so in a way with talking about the old movies. And I mean, I'll get one out of the way. Elektra,
straight out of the gate.
I mean,
which I think we were all
I semi-called that one.
pretty much knew
Okay, that might be
just
it.
from casting.
Okay.
It might have been
that was
leaked
happening.
prior.
Yeah,
Somebody
was
commented in one of our
definitely leaked.
TikToks.
Jennifer
and,
Gardner, she
and
took
spoiled it.
She
again,
commented on our TikTok.
took a
Yeah.
break from pretending to be Tom Hanks in the League of Their Own Capital One commercial. You know, this is the world we live in. And next up, Blade. Wesley Snipes.
This is one that came totally out of left field.
I feel like we were prepared as a podcast.
It's
We
not.
sure did.
Yeah, like
By accident.
I mean, we
completely by accident.
not just the reviews we've done, but like talking to Sam the Dungeon Master, like just like 2 weeks before this movie.
Yeah.
and, like we talked about Blade like twice. I was like, man, we keep bringing up this Blade stuff, but it doesn't. In my head,
Foreshadowing.
it totally was, and it's him. A little bit of gray,
And
but looks good.
it's completely surprising because Blade, not a Fox movie.
right.
It's a New Line Cinema film.
It's just it's one.
It
of
was its own
a
thing.
legacy superhero movie.
Yeah.
Next up,
The Gambit.
I'll give it up. Carrie liked it.
Ooh, about to make a name for myself.
I don't think you
I'm
guys
about
walk
to-
away from this.
I don't think you guys He's just with that Cajun accent. Like, I guess I am a fan because it's so funny,
Yeah.
and it's like so ridiculous. But he's wanted it for years. He wore the T-shirt to Comic-Con 10 years ago. We thought we were gonna get it, and everybody's saying this. It is true. Like, it was like a fan thing that people wanted and thought might happen. It was more of like a meme in my head.
I'm gonna stop you there. Nobody wanted this movie.
I love this. This is great.
except for Channing Tatum.
People. I mean,
It didn't happen because nobody wanted it.
All right, someone wanted it. Eric Davis and I tweeted back and forth to each other, head of Fandango, Rotten Tomatoes, and he said,
I think I was in on that.
you were in on it.
Yeah.
He said, I campaigned for this. And I replied and said,
Man.
well, some would argue it's your fault. And he said, I'd take it because I was rooting for Channing the whole time. So I was like, okay, I mean, he's a fan, fine. That's just one take.
Yeah.
I don't know. Carrie knows who Channing Tatum is, doesn't know Gambit outside of
Right.
X-Men 97.
Well, this is some of the
She
problem.
was in, though. She was in.
This
She's
is
like,
some of
"All
the
right."
problem with, you almost had to have back knowledge to know that Channing Tatum has been campaigning for this role for 15 years.
Right, absolutely. And Emmanuel
To know
with Logan,
why it's funny.
Emmanuel mentioned a little bit of that. You'll hear from that later in the episode. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, absolutely. The prior knowledge is totally
Like, we know who
necessary.
Gambit is if you've seen the movies.
I mean,
Taylor Kitsch played him
yes, in X-Men
in
Origins.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
A great take, I thought.
I thought it was good.
Could have really that was a great Gambit, like almost like a no name that could, but like he's a huge movie star, like not a no name, but like
Debatable.
at the time,
At the time,
you're like, who is this guy? I was in on that Gambit.
yeah.
So that's how I explained it to Carrie, was that, like, if you're just asking me, like, I just thought the whole thing felt like a little cheesy and just completely a joke. And even Deadpool says, like, weren't you more of a thing that people wanted to happen that never happened?
Yeah.
And he's like, he says like things like, I don't even know where I was born.
Yeah. Maybe I was born here in the void because this movie never got made.
Yes. And Deadpool convinces like Blade and Elektra, like, let's team up, like end on a high note and go take down this bad guy. And they're like, we all have legacies to fulfill. And he's like, some of us don't know really what we are.
Yeah.
I was born ready when I came out my daddy's dick.
Yeah.
Shot out my daddy's dick.
What the fuck was that? That was
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. Like, then you have like that off the wall slapstick part where I'm like, okay, this is obviously a joke. Like, and like, I'm not like, it's kind of just a tough it's a tough position to be in. Like, I'm sure Channing was like pumped, but then was also like, what are you having me do with this crazy accent?
It was awesome.
Who's your dialect coach?
Minions?
Yeah, that's because it's Deadpool though, and the fourth wall and everything. I'm like, I don't know if this was a serious portrayal or if this was supposed to be like a joke making fun of like the fact that the whole time that he didn't get in there. But then
It's
a few
both.
minutes, later on in the movie when push comes to shove though, he
can hold his
he
own.
performed. So
He looks like Logan Winter. Like, his cosplay was so good, and he looks like the X-Men from the cartoon from the 90s.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
but
yeah. This is
just a little
classic mid-90s Gambit from the comics.
except for like his face, like
the whatever you call that, the like non-mask mask.
like the neck.
It's a little tight.
It just looked a little strange. Yeah, it did. Can you take it?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, and you can see it up on the screen. You got the whole team, and then one last, certainly not least, X-23.
X-23.
Laura, the same girl, Daphne King. Keen from Logan, little girl at the time, 2017, full-on adult here, is back, got the claws, she got her sunglasses, has a little heart-to-heart with Logan about, like, basically him saying, like, I'm really bad, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy.
I'm not the guy to help you save whatever you're trying to do.
And she
You were
said,
never the guy.
You were never the guy. And I mean, goosebumps again. Like, this is such a specific Wolverine, like, dialogue happening.
That
and
was
it is so good.
the fire scene around the fire, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. And he finally unleashes the story of the past and what happened on his, and how he let everybody down.
Which essentially was, I was out drinking again.
I didn't want to be part of the team. I never wanted to wear my costume.
Yeah, I couldn't let him know that I wanted to be there.
Right.
Always.
I was out drinking and the humans came.
And the humans came and smoked all the X-Men. They're all dead. And then he said he went on a killing spree and, like, killed a lot of people, not just bad ones.
That turned everyone that turned everyone against the X-Men.
Against mutants.
So that is just that was heavy.
It was heavy. But are we going to do this? Are we going to take the fight to Cassandra Nova? Hell yeah. The minivan is full throttle. We're dead. All of them are in there. Deadpool, Elektra, Blade, Laura, and Blade's up top with a massive gun. And he's like, where'd you get that? And they said, the Punisher.
Yeah, the Punisher.
Oh, we had other funny comments like, sorry about you and Daredevil. And she's like, oh, it's cool.
It's fine.
That's a Ben Affleck, like, split up joke, right?
Yeah.
Lots of divorce jokes.
Lots of divorce jokes. Yeah. He's lost weight since the divorce or something like that.
He's put on weight since
they were divorced like within the last year, I think.
Yeah,
so that's a fresh one.
Jeez, but like,
it's okay. He can regenerate.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm the only Blade. There's only ever gonna be one Blade.
Yeah.
Deadpool looks right in the camera. Like, okay. I think this gives high hopes for that movie. By the way, just tuck that in there. I think Mahershala Ali will be fine.
I mean, just bring back Wesley at this point.
Have them both.
Yeah.
And it's like Blade.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know, something.
Recover from his tax
team.
evasion charges.
Blade Corp.
Blade
Corps.
And also, Wolverine's there. They bust in. Gambit's like just saying like you can't understand him at all.
Yeah.
He's like blah, 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 in the back, and what Gambit's trying to say is we gotta get in there, get Juggernaut's helmet, and get it on Cassandra Nova's head so she can't do her powers anymore. And it's a huge fight scene. You get all the payoffs with Blade, Gambit, Laura, Elektra, all of them. They all they did a fantastic job. Everybody got to. I make the cards go boom.
I'm the guy who charges the cards and make them go boom.
Make them go boom.
I realize we need dialect coaches too, because our Cajuns.
Who can do Cajun outside of
no?
Right.
We sound as silly as he does. That's why.
Even worse.
It's
awesome. He was like bad good. Like we're like bad.
Yes.
And we get all the payoffs, and then they got the helmet on her. They convince her, Logan has this heart-to-heart with her. He's like, if Charles knew you were here, because she hates like the X-Men. She hates Charles. And he's like, if he knew you were here, he would have ripped a hole in the universe to get to you. Which, like, these are, again, we know these characters so well. Like, I'm like, he's right. Like, if he had a sister, he'd be like after you. And it gets her for a minute, and this is where we get the from the trailer. Open up the once. I killed a guy that came through.
A guy came through here
and he
a couple weeks ago. He had one of these rings.
He was
sling ring.
And Deadpool says, "Strange."
Yeah.
So presumably, Doctor Strange made it through. She killed him. Wore his skin around
for a couple weeks or something.
Opened up the hole, and they jump in. And this is like back to the sacred. This is back to like the TVA.
This is back to his universe, 10,005.
His, but with like the TVA access downstairs, like in the subway. It's like where they like,
we find out that Pyro was working with Mr.
Paradox.
Mr. Paradox.
And he was a mole.
They go straight through the hole to the car dealership where Peter's selling a car. So we
Yes.
know that's probably won't be the last we see of Mr. Peter.
And the kids like react. They're like, Deadpool, Wolverine. That was cool.
Yeah, it's exactly how I would if they just came out of a portal into the room I was in.
And then through the wormhole comes Cassandra Nova. Like they're all up on the street, and Paradox is up there, and she knows everything. And she comes out, breaks Pyro's neck, kills him. He's like, you thought we were cool? We're not cool. And then gets in Paradox's head, learns everything about the machine, decides I'm going to destroy every universe except for the Void.
Except for the Void, yeah.
That's a new plan. Like, that's cool. Like, all right. Only the Void. Walks him, like, drags him down the stairs by his head.
Yeah. That's the whole, like,
the
fingers in the face.
Yes.
Very creepy.
So creepy.
She's not washing those.
I feel like I skipped ahead a little bit. There's a big so how they got the helmet on her head was she did she put her finger in Wolverine's brain. And we got flashbacks from all the Fox movies, which looking at that new Rockstars video that helped me out with some of this timeline stuff, there's like theories that like this Wolverine may have just had very parallel experiences to the Wolverine we know.
I think that's the whole through line for all of this.
It's like
these might not be the exact characters,
but they're really close. And most Wolverines are the same.
Yeah,
it's like kind of a takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but yeah, fingers in the head, and then she's like, I can make it quiet for you. Like he has all those giant graves in his head of all the people he let down. It looked visually very cool. And then
straight out of the comic books.
Laura gets the helmet up to Deadpool. They get it on her, and that's how they did it. So yeah, then they jump through. That's how they did it in the comics. You said,
like the gravestone scene.
The gravestones.
Yeah, that's straight out of the comic books for sure.
That hit too. So now the mission is stop Cassandra Nova from using this machine to destroy all the universes. And Paradox says like no one can stop her. But first we get Deadpool and Wolverine versus the Deadpool Corps. All right, I mean,
Cassandra Nova has brought them through.
It's time to rattle off any Deadpools that you want to rattle off.
I mean, because
you get them all.
We got Lady Pool.
Yep. Dog Pool. Who's that gas mask looking pool?
I think they just kind of threw some stuff together.
Who's that zombie looking pool?
The whole Reynolds family.
We get Head
Pool.
Pool.
There?
Kid Pool, Head Pool,
the little
skull.
hat.
Baby Pool.
Baby Pool
was credited as his newborn actual baby.
And Kid Pool was his other child.
And Lady Pool was Blake Lively.
Yes.
Yeah. Welsh Pool is
right behind
Lady Deadpool was played by a member of the Wrexham soccer team. I don't know his name, but
Samurai
that's a crazy
Pool.
connection.
Yeah, all kinds of them.
I see like a crown back there. Yeah, it's like there's like too many to get. But like if you're talking numbers, like maybe like 50 or so.
Yeah, there was a lot of them.
And they fight him, and Nice Pool gets killed.
Yeah.
Oh no, look out! And just he holds him up as a shield. He's like, how long does it take you to regenerate? Regenerate? Then he just and then he takes him out there, and he's just getting shot so much, and he's like, "You're gonna live
if you go faster." It's like, "Oh my god, like you're heavy. Come on."
Yeah, why do you think I'm stopping? You're heavy.
Break.
You're gonna live. Say it. And he's like, "I'm gonna live." And then they fight him. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine go straight through him, and it's like this is like a big scene. It's like it's like almost like not the hallway scene from Daredevil, more like Moon Knight had a scene like this where it's like a horizontal pan from left to right, and it's just kill, and we
finally get the full mask,
full Wolverine mask. All right, did you have feels?
Oh, for sure. Like it's beautiful. Everything I thought it would be and more.
The white eyes, like
Deadpool's.
It's like that's what they got to do with Batman. I feel like they need to start making Batman white eyed.
Some sort of CGI eye instead of like the full black makeup and the eyes kind of set back. Like
no,
you can't see through that.
And like every night you're just like putting like tar on your face.
Yeah.
All right, so we get that huge payoff, just like killing machine, full Wolverine, and then make it down to the TVA basement.
Cassandra Nova
she's locked in
into the Time Ripper,
and
she's ripping time.
This is a payoff for
me. We get the like Loki style TVA, like being ripped apart.
Yeah, for a fan,
kind of trippy thing. Yeah,
I'm in. Like I understand, I'm like, oh, time is noodling out. Like, that is exactly what happened in Loki season 2. They brought that back. I can't wait to go back and watch Loki. Can't wait to just go back and watch all of Loki. It's so good. And then if one of you, even with your healing powers, Paradox says, if one of you tries to close this circuit, essentially, there's a circuit that exists, and if you can bridge it, you could, in
but
theory,
you can stop
between
it.
matter,
stop
yeah,
it.
between matter and antimatter.
And it's kind of like a simple fuse philosophy.
Short it out.
Short it out. But one of you can't do it, and they fight.
Yeah.
They have like this Black Widow Hawkeye moment where it's like, who's going to save the world type of thing.
Yeah.
And Wolverine's like, I'll do it. I don't even have a world to go back to.
These are your family that you're trying to save here.
He got that photo.
Right.
And then he's like, okay, go ahead. And then, of course, he does the switcheroo. Deadpool gets in there and hooks in, and he's got one side.
He does the thing in the window first.
Yeah. He does all the funny, just like
all the funny window stuff.
stuff that you can do on the other side of a
Austin Powers elevator joke.
Yeah.
Escalator.
He's like, God, I hate Wolverine. Just the banter back and forth was there the whole time. And he gets one side of the machine, and he's dragging it over.
Can't reach it.
Wolverine busts in, grabs his hand, claws into the other side of the machine. And here we get a very Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 moment. Where, like, not one person can touch the Power Stone, but hey, if you team up.
Yeah, if we do it family style.
If we do it, Fast and Furious family style.
It's family. It's all about family.
Then we can do, and that's exactly, they light up, and we get the shirtless Hugh, finally. I mean, straight man over here saying finally. Like,
I mean, doesn't look
motivation.
like he's put on any kind of weight to me.
Oh my God. I mean, I love the.
Like, if that's untouched.
That's a divorce body right there, baby.
And in the middle of just saving the universe, like, Deadpool's literally like looking down, like, oh my God. Yeah.
He might actually be doing this till he's 90. He might look the exact same.
Till you're 90.
He's got a couple of good years in him, that's for sure.
Oh, I believe Deadpool when he says Disney will make you do this till you're 90. I believe that.
I mean, we saw some casting. They'll bring you back.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
It is.
Just back up the dump truck of money.
He'll be
Marvel money.
He could be old man Logan.
For
real.
In like
30 years.
Yeah, Kevin Feige's directing the next Phase 8
Russo brothers.
Phase 9 movie. We'll finally get Avengers vs. X-Men.
All right, so they do it.
Fixed it.
The machine blows up. Cassandra Nova dies. Excuse you.
Sorry.
That was great. I love that I was right in the mic. I'm keeping it's
I
staying
had
in.
my mouth closed,
It's
too.
staying in, too. I'm going to leave it in.
Come on, Roadhouse.
And Paradox. All right, so B15 shows up from the TVA.
Yeah, something's going on. There's an incident.
The whole team is like down there. Paradox is like, oh, thank goodness you're here. And they're like, were you up to anything? He's like, absolutely
no,
not.
but we did just save this place.
He goes, my men, my friends went down there.
That's Tom Wambsgans, dude. That is so.
He's so good. And then here they come. They've survived.
Yeah.
Right around the corner. Like, here they come. They still got the cowl on, but he's shirtless. And there they are. And, the TVA is like, all right, you got to pay for these crimes. In comes Peter, who also got recognized by the Deadpool Corps.
Yeah.
As every
Peter
Deadpool
Pool.
has a Peter Pool. With his junk just pinned on that belt so visibly. It couldn't have looked any more like a penis tucked into a Deadpool suit. Like, it was so funny. I mean, I still am laughing about the tug on his piercing chain. Like, that was I died.
How he told the story, how he knew someone who did that, but it was him.
Yeah.
Oh, right. And then it was him. He's like, oh.
Dude. Peter's got a hog on him for sure.
And guess who's pumped about it? B15.
Yes.
And they have like this moment of like, I hope you do call me Peter.
The stare down.
And Tom and Paradox.
So weird.
What the hell is going on? What is happening? All right, and they save the universe, and you go back to yours. Wolverine, sorry, can't redo yours because that's how you became the Wolverine you are. So we're not going to change anything. Figure it out. and they go back to a bench on the city, and they're just sitting and talking, the two of them.
Yeah.
Dogpool
Got some
shows up,
shawarma.
got some shawarma, and he goes, the Avengers invented shawarma. And he's like, what are you going to do? And Wolverine's like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And he starts walking off. He's like,
Wait a minute.
Logan.
Yeah.
And he goes back to his friends, Deadpool's friends. They're all there. Brings Wolverine. Laura rolls in. And we get some closure with Wade and Vanessa.
Yeah.
A rekindling of the relationship.
A hand touch.
Oh, it was so nice. Like, I mean, I really got goosebumps and teared up. Like, at so many parts. We'll get into it. And I mean, essentially, they're in my head, like the 10,005 universe, where Deadpool came from, and there's 2 Logans in there. Like, now,
there's another Logan for sure.
There's another Logan, and movie ends. End credit scenes. First, we get the payoff to all the Fox properties.
Yeah,
and the
little montage of behind the scenes.
Oh, and the Green Day. Another fork stuck in the road.
Time of my life.
Even the second time, I couldn't hold it in.
I mean,
I was like, these are the movies that I grew up watching.
Yes.
Like, I'm getting chills right now thinking about it.
I was already mostly an adult when they all came out, but
that was perfect.
I mean, I feel like that too, though. I think that's like a lot of the audience. Like,
I remember talking to your dad about it at work.
You mean his friend?
Yeah.
Jesus, Marvel Jesus.
I am the Messiah. And then the end credit scene. People won't believe me that Johnny ran his mouth. Here's the footage.
Let's check the tape.
Well, we didn't talk about the Stan Lee cameo. That was a nicely touched in on the bus after the Deadpool fight.
Yeah.
It's like, was it like Stan Lee steamer or something like that? It was just an ad.
Yeah,
it was on there.
Yeah, Stan Lee something on the bus.
Yeah.
Great payoff. So that was the only end credit scene. That's the movie, Deadpool Wolverine. All right, that's the movie. Right now, I think it's sitting around 85% on Rotten Tomatoes after a couple weeks. I mean, it started off certified fresh. It was 100 for a minute. Then it was 99. Now I think it's hovering in the high 80s. Let's do roundtable scores for us and thoughts on this movie. Things that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to talk about, and just do our reaction side of it. Giggler, let's start with you, man. This was a movie for the ages, and I want to hear how you feel about it after 2 viewings.
Dude, I had the time of my life during this movie, both times. If they keep pumping out movies like this, I'm gonna be sitting in this chair till I'm 90. So I loved everything, the cameos, everything where it expected. This movie was put on such a pedestal, and expectations were so high, but for them to still deliver in this way, there's still surprises. I can't say enough about how awesome that is for longtime comic book fans like us, but also, like I said, I had multiple people that had hardly ever seen any MCU movies that saw it and were still in love with the movie. And I give that to the 2 stars. They put this movie on their back, and it's been in making for years, and I'm so happy that it's finally here. I think I don't really have many complaints, honestly. Maybe the villains were a little bit weak, but because of the heroes were so strong, I kind of care less about that. And as BD says, there's some holes that you can poke in the plot probably, but why does it matter? It's Deadpool. He's breaking the fourth wall so much that you don't even know what room you're in. I truly was this is the whole ride was just amazing. I truly can't wait to see it again. The 2, the bye 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 and Like a Prayer, I can't get the songs out of my head, and I've been putting them on repeat on my own playlist now because I just can't get enough of this movie and everything that comes with it. So with that being said, 3.9 out of 4 is my rating.
Hell yeah, man.
I love it. The closure that they gave all these actors is honestly amazing. The way that they did it all. And like I said, it's funny in the beginning that they joked about not shitting on Logan's legacy and then saying basically we're going to do it, but I think in the end, obviously the climax of the movie, I was tearing up then too, just that sacrifice, Guardians of the Galaxy vibes there. That hit me in the feels, and that relationship between these 2 people just started in this movie. So I don't know, I'm ready for the MCU going forward. I think I'm really excited of this, plus the announcement for Comic-Con. Bring it on, baby.
Yeah, we haven't got to talk about that together.
I know.
Keep that. We'll keep. All right, so you might have another chance. Don't worry, Scotty Scoop. Let's hear what you got, man. And like I said, we might take a couple turns.
Yeah, I mean, this was. I didn't really know what to expect, and it was everything I didn't know I wanted, and more. With the cameos, I'm really surprised I was able to stay spoiler free, and I think it mattered. You know, you sit there and you see Elektra and then Blade and Gambit and X-23 and just the chemistry between these two guys. It was off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell they're friends in real life.
Yeah.
And they really wanted to do this. It was great send-off to all of the non-MCU properties. You know, all the Fox stuff. I need to see it again.
Yeah.
It was great. The music was great. The fighting was great. I'm glad we were finally able to get to see Wolverine at another level of violence, because that's what he deserves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the PG Fox stuff, like no blood, no dismemberment. Like, how do you have a guy with 6 knives in his hand not cut off any appendages in however many movies he was in?
Yeah,
for 7
for so long,
until Logan. Yeah, I'm gonna go 3.8. I mean, yeah, of course there were some plot holes and some stuff that doesn't make sense, but you just gotta work past it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does it really matter? Like, the timelines don't add up. Logan took place in 2029. How did he get so old so fast?
Mm-hmm.
Who cares?
Who cares? Yeah.
Who cares?
Who's keeping
This is awesome.
Who's keeping such good track too?
Right. Not me.
Right. We're trying to, but like you're right. You get to a point where you like don't care as
Yeah.
much. All right. I'll weigh in too, then we can do another round too. Like if you're thinking more to stay, and also I think we should do like a fan out about the stuff that you liked most or things that come to mind about the future. I've already done my spoiler free take with like a kind of reaction on like how the team did on this, and that's out on the podcast right now, only a few minutes long. And so I'm trying not to repeat myself and have a fresh take, sitting here after nerding out about it. My rating is still a 3.95, like really almost perfect, because I do believe they had so much to accomplish with the Fox properties, the MCU bringing in the character and addressing it from that side. I've said a lot of this, but they had so much to accomplish that the part that they needed a little more help with, I think, was the villain. Totally, like you said, Andy, just beefing it up a little bit. The stakes were, they were real enough to like where like you have to mix these universes somehow to where people have like stake. And we've talked about how comic book movies get event fatigue, and comic books in general.
Yeah, for sure.
So we could, as fans, just speaking for myself, trying to like really stay to myself here. It pays off for me in all the ways, and the route that they took was like unexpected for me in terms like on the surface, but subliminally, I think that I was anticipating a lot of this, like thinking about like we get excited as fans and we want things to go very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that's why we loved X-Men 97. It was like so many finales, and I think that like that's like when you've seen Avengers Endgame and you've seen Spider-Man No Way Home, like to make the stakes very like real are hard in movies like these. And with a movie like this, that was like we gotta mix we have to accomplish so many things. We gotta pick a lane and like get into it. The lane was let's bring back these OG characters, and I also think it played a part of like Disney's overall strategy when it comes to movies and TV shows. Like the generation approach, like that, the idea of like all these reboots that are coming back, like that is definitely like the nostalgia is like not over. And like as all of us get older and we were there for these things in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, if this audience is the people that are like making money if in theory like have been alive for as long as all 30, 40, 50, even 60 years. Like older fans that imagine like a diehard comic book fan seeing like Blade come out in 1998.
Yeah.
Like they're right. Like Emmanuel, Logan Winter cosplay his dad, like he's right. Like that was like the OG Marvel flick, especially like the OG like rated R Marvel flick.
Sure.
You know, like so.
I mean, there were just some very terrible movies before that.
Right, and like we talked about all of them, and they have their issues. But
Yeah.
like you talk about just breaking the mold and being these films. I went and saw Fantastic Four with my buddy Nick from high school. Like we went to the midnight showing for that. Like we couldn't believe that they were gonna make these movies. And
Yes.
when they made when Silver Surfer came out, Fantastic Four, same like feelings. Like even with the problems of the movie, just being so pumped to see it and just thinking like of the possibility
Yeah.
that like this could happen. And Elektra was a spinoff from Daredevil.
Right.
Like they were doing what was happening so regularly. And yeah, I also agree that maybe Iron Man 2008, that was a defining moment of like, we've got our groove. We've been doing this for 100 years in terms of stories, and we've been doing this for 30 years in terms of movies. Like, let's try to do it. And you get all the way through the MCU and you land back at this Deadpool movie, and all of a sudden, like, those characters were back. I think to kids, they're not going to know what's going on.
No, absolutely not.
But like for me, absolutely.
yeah.
And why not? They kind of made it a swan song. There was a swan song for like the Fox and the old Marvel stuff. So it's kind of like it feels a little bit mixed, where it's like it's good night to these characters, but like, is it?
Like you just
Like, you
gave
might-
me like
You might,
another taste of these characters.
like, are these going to be like characters that stick around? Like Brandon Davis said, you know, it's an experiment. It's always a big experiment. Like, what works? And like Emmanuel
Well, this
called
is
it.
gonna
Like
be
we're
a
gonna see a Channing Tatum movie. Like who
Yeah.
knows? Like who knows? So yeah, I stick with that 3.95 to where like that story just could have been it's a 5% ding I'm giving on a score right now. Like it's tiny little percent, 0.05. Like 0.05 out of a 4. Like it's such a little ding because this movie, I need to see it again. I can't wait for it to be at home. Like it's part of the repertoire.
yeah,
Of like the
it'll be in the
rewatch.
rotation
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah, like, oh, I got to put this on.
The Endgame Infinity War
Yes.
rotation.
Yep.
Like this is up there
Guardians. Like,
in the upper echelon.
it totally is. It's in the top tier. So, huge reaction from me. I'm still fanning out about it. And yeah, man, Deadpool Wolverine. Anything else coming to mind, guys? Anything else you want to get off your chest before we hear from a few other people?
I just have to appreciate, like, and BD's about to say it to our fans as well. Like, BD being Brandon Davis for comicbook.com, of course.
Nice.
Like, just take it. Like, Deadpool's the perfect character for this. Like, things like this is something that probably needs to happen in the MCU and in people in life. Like, just taking things less seriously. Like, why doesn't need to matter so much that, yeah, we've had time travel, universal travel, all that within like the past few years in this phase, and there's a lot of changes that are coming to Marvel now in the future where all their initial plans for that are likely just flipped around with Doomsday and Secret Wars. So I think honestly, more than anything, I just appreciate that out of like Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, and their relationship together is what really just fueled this movie for me.
Yeah, and I'm also, as an MCU fan, I'm so excited that Deadpool is here. Like, this was the entry point, and now everything else is up for grabs. Like, thinking of him in a Spider-Man movie, like thinking of him playing like a really pivotal role. Some of this I'm borrowing from the new Rockstars video I saw. His ability to communicate through universes was such a huge thing for the TVA that maybe that becomes like a big thing in like Secret Wars, you know, the Avengers movies that are coming out, to where like he's like actually a vital thing. Like he might be able to be like you have to go talk to this other thing.
Yeah.
And like, and he's like, you know, he's Deadpool, so like he'll kind of fudge it up in his own way. And there's a lot of fun you can have with like a high stakes movie that kind of does it differently than what we've already seen in game. So you can't just do that again. You got to like make it fresh. And Andy, you said it, like the huge news out of Comic-Con, you know, Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doom, and all the different storylines that come with Doctor Doom that could go down and play roles with multiverse and stuff. This sets a stage for like you could do whatever you need to do, and like taking a tool like Alioth and the Void and making it like a central point of this, like that was in a Loki show. Like I thought that was brilliant. Like you don't have to necessarily be Loki. It's just a tool that like people understand. This is why they brought in the Mad Max joke, because it was just like, hey, you don't know what this is? Think of Mad Max.
Yeah.
You don't know what the Void is? It's a waste. It's a wasteland. And like, how many good stories are there in the comics of like wasteland stories too? So I think they could go a million different ways. So as a future MCU fan, like I'm definitely like, I feel like after X-Men 97 where I'm like, I want more. And what are you going to do with it though? I don't want a million shows. I don't want a million movies. Like BD said, I want like some good quality stuff. And now you got like this Deadpool entity. What are you going to do with it?
And now the Void is open. So who's going to go rule the Void now? And is that going to be the last we see of it? I completely doubt it.
Not.
I completely doubt that.
I think it's like it works for anything.
They just made almost $1 billion where half of the movie focus was in the Void.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're going to take those numbers and say, hey, I think we might have something here.
Yeah.
Could we maybe round up some other people who might not be working as much?
And that's it.
And we get a show about the Void.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly
right.
right.
And make some bank. Or we can bring back somebody else.
Where can we bring back all of these? Oh, the Void.
Right.
Imagine all the universes end up in the Void, and there's a whole movie in there. That could potentially happen. You can see how vast it is. Like every time they're driving that Honda Odyssey, you can see like there's so much different terrain that was completely unexplored.
Yeah, because what they revealed here was like the left on the floor stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, now I'm getting into like DC stuff, like that Batwoman movie or that Batgirl movie.
Yeah.
That literally just exists. Like, like this is like this gives a place for like any character to like ever appear,
yeah, for sure. Stuff that happened, stuff that was rumored to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Hugh Jackman wasn't the first Wolverine. Hugh Jackman replaced Doug Ray Scott in the first X-Men movie. And he actually filmed scenes and said, hey, I actually can't do this. I've got a commitment at another movie. So you guys are going to have to find somebody else.
It's almost like...
And they brought in Hugh Jackman.
The Flash tried it. The Flash movie tried to do like a similar thing with like the Nick Cage. But the problem with that was they did the Nick Cage and then they did Christopher Reeves.
The Back to the Future, where they made the Back to the Future joke in the Flash.
Yeah.
Where Michael J. Fox wasn't in Back to the Future.
You mean Kevin Bacon?
No, it was like somebody else that was actually in Back to the Future and filmed almost the entire movie.
Yeah, what's his name?
And then they brought in Michael J. Fox to reshoot it.
Yeah, like you could get like something like that to appear on screen in the Void. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it became like this catch-all. So yeah, absolutely. All right, so we've ranted about it. You guys want to hear from some fans?
Let's do it.
We got some more fans, and we have 2 big interviews for you to hear. And this episode, of course, is brought to you by In the Stigma, Team Jakey here in St. Louis, and The Gramophone, best sandwiches in the Grove in St. Louis. Check them out. Here we go.
Fan mail.
Brandon, what'd you think of Deadpool Wolverine?
Better than The Flash.
Every day.
What'd you think of Deadpool Wolverine?
I loved it. This was actually my first Marvel movie that I've went and seen in theaters or seen in years, and it was amazing. It was really funny.
And will you see more Marvel movies is my question.
Absolutely. I'm going home to watch Deadpool 1 and 2 today.
Yes. Have a great Sunday.
Thanks.
Dan, what'd you think of Deadpool Wolverine?
I thought Deadpool Wolverine was a ton of fun. Happy to see Hugh Jackman all suited up, and happy to see Ryan Reynolds just kicking ass together.
Oh, yeah.
Most superheroes. It's the best.
Did it again. Brandon, what'd you think of Deadpool and Wolverine?
It is everything I ever wanted. It's everything that everyone's ever wanted. It is the reason why you still go to the movie. It's the reason you go to the movies.
Wow.
It's not something you can just stream at home, which I will buy this the second that it is available to purchase. But it's get out and go see it in a theater. It is fucking fantastic.
Woo! Got some amazing fan mail for this one. Just a couple people reached out. You can find us online at mostlysuperheroes.com. You can call or text us at 754-CALL-LOG. And people did, including our friend Jose in Puerto Rico. He's back. He's talked to us about X-Men 97. I've got some voicemails from him on backlog for future episodes. The Boys, Season 4, coming soon. All right, so for Deadpool and Wolverine, with a little touch of Olympics, here's Jose.
Good morning, mostly superheroes. Happy Monday, Garfield's not favorite day. This is Jose from Puerto Rico, and hope you all had a great weekend. It was a crazy weekend between the Olympics opening ceremony, which was pretty good. The release of Deadpool and Wolverine and San Diego Comic-Con was a weekend with lots of events. Let's go straight to the point. Deadpool Wolverine, I loved it. It's been a while since I had that much fun in a superhero movie. I would say since Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3. But Deadpool was a blast. All the cameos, I screamed, I cheered, I laughed, and I had a great time from start to finish. The 2 hours flew by. Didn't want the movie to end. If it would have ran for 1 more hour, I would have been happy. But yeah, I would say Deadpool Wolverine, one of my favorites of the new phase of the MCU. I would give it, I would say between 8.5 and 9 out of 10. Obviously, Deadpool did a great job, and of course, my standout, Wolverine. Team Wolverine always. Anyhow, looking forward to the next movie of the MCU. And looking forward to the show. Have a great week and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Jose! From his car or something.
It sounded like he
Rico.
was furiously typing something as well
Maybe
while
typing.
he was driving.
I thought they
don't-
were blinkers, like wipers.
Oh, could have been.
Jose. Go ahead, Andy.
I was just saying, Jose's one of us. That's awesome.
Yeah, he is. He is. He's like definitely like part of the crew at this point. Like he's just called. I love it. He's treating the phone like we've always wanted to. We don't have to fake people like we did years ago. Martin Casas from Apotheosis Comics with the cow, the Wolverine cow. If you're watching, you should be watching. Here he is, Martin, with his take on Deadpool Wolverine.
Hey everybody, this is Martin from Apotheosis Comics here. Wanted to give my review of the Deadpool Wolverine movie. We saw it Thursday night at the Alamo Drafthouse, had a blast. First of all, not only was it a fun movie, it was filled with so many Easter eggs that a comic book nerd like me loves. You got X-Men covers, you got Age of Apocalypse, you've got all the characters that are introduced in the third act. You got notes everywhere of all the Marvel movies, of the comic books. You got Easter eggs galore. And this movie was just a really fun, entry into the Marvel Universe for Deadpool. And I also felt like it was such a great way to bring Hugh Jackman's Wolverine into the Marvel Universe. Now, I don't think he's going to stick around for long. I think they're going to have to find a replacement for him. But hey, I'm here for it. I think this was the thing we wanted to see since Marvel came on the scene. They did it right. And I loved seeing Hugh Jackman in the yellow and blue, even though I thought the orange and tan costume looked a little better. I'm not going to lie, it was pretty cool. My review, Wolverine Deadpool, 10 out of 10. Go see it again. Great job, Hugh Jackman. Great job, Ryan Reynolds. Great job, everyone involved. It was a blast, and I cannot wait to see this movie 300 more times.
Go see Martin Casas at Apotheosis Comics Lounge, South Grand. That was our old friend.
I can't wait. I mean, he's talking about finding a replacement. I think we're seeing one on the screen right now.
I know. I just need to I could superimpose his face onto Hugh right there, and it would fit perfectly.
Yeah,
I have
not
his claws.
far off.
I have some claws you can borrow.
I mean, that blue looks solid, and the white eyes. How do you get a mask with the white eyes like that?
I mean, that's the new. He had to buy that in the last couple weeks.
It looks so sharp.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Martin. And next up, we have Mike, who texted 754-CALL-LOG, but everyone calls me Deadpool because of my knowledge of Marvel, LOL. He says Deadpool and Wolverine was a 4.2. I assume that's on our scale, so it's better than perfect.
Off the charts, folks.
Our first off-the-charts score. It has so many Easter eggs and stuff normal fans wouldn't, and it sets up so much more for the MCU for years to come. plus revitalizing some of the classic MCU movies some people forgot about. And he said he'd love to do a podcast, so of course we're featuring him. And here's the real fun thing from Mike. He sent me some photos. He gave me permission to share these. Check out his tattoos. He loves Deadpool. Up on the screen, on his arm, you have many different versions of Deadpool, including
It's
one
like
that's
an
wearing a
Invader Zim.
Yeah, Invader Zim Deadpool, a Pikachu. Yes, one holding a Groot, and
Awesome.
one on like a Pokemon or something. Like, I don't even like. Or is that a Reptar?
That's Reptar
from
for sure.
That's Reptar from
Oh
Rugrats.
man,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
These are his real tattoos. Mike, thank you so much for sending us these and the message. We really appreciate you. And you could get featured just like that. Reaching out 754 log. Local St. Louis influencer Brad and STL sent us his note. Here it is.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Braden, and I'm excited to be a contributor here on Mostly Superheroes to talk about superheroes, Deadpool and Wolverine. You guys have been hyping it up, and to be honest, you guys gave me that final push to go ahead and get my tickets. So I saw it at Alamo Draft House this past Sunday. We were in the Big Show, which is the best theater, singular, like the theater to watch movies here in St. Louis. And so we're right there. I'm not going to tell you guys which row, but there's a certain row and certain seats I always strive to sit in. Man, first let's talk about the soundtrack. It's up there with the original Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy, absolute bangers. And the way they used it was so good. Like, it was in the action scenes, and wow. Now let's talk about the jokes. You know, it is Disney. So we didn't think we were going to get the full Deadpool jokes, and we got it all. I mean, let's talk about the stunts. I mean, the action. I don't think I've ever seen real blood. Well, you know what I mean. Blood portrayed in a Disney movie, and we got to see that. And it was gory. It was graphic. It felt like I was watching like The Walking Dead or something. But just watching how they were able to tell that story, like, gosh, and the way Deadpool broke the wall and he was trolling himself, trolling Marvel. I think he trolled Endgame. He was trolling himself as Ryan Reynolds. It was just cool. Like, probably, I don't want to say save the franchise of Marvel, because they were just going to keep coming out with more TV shows and spin-offs, blah, blah, blah. But definitely added excitement. I am now excited to see what this next Avengers is going to be like, or how Deadpool is going to tie into everything. Like, it was just fun. And so I think they tried that with the last Thor. Like, Thor Ragnarok was really good, but then there was that one right after that where it was just like, okay, this is getting cheesy and boring. And I couldn't get into the Eternals. I couldn't get into the Hawkeye series. Loki was cool the first season, but like, literally, this made me very excited. It was cool to see how like Blade was brought in, and a lot of opportunities to go with this. So thanks for having me on, guys. I can keep talking about this one, but this was like, I would say, definitely a top 5 Disney Marvel movie. And that's tough, because you have Endgame, you have Black Panther, you have the original Captain America, Iron Man 2. I don't know, this one's right there. But yeah, hope you guys have a great day. I hope this entertains some people. I don't know. But yeah, I just really, really loved it. I don't know if I can see this one again, because I struggle to watch these movies if they're not in theaters. And this was just such a good movie. So glad I got to see it. Till next time.
Emmanuel, are you ready, sir?
Yes, sir.
Costume builder extraordinaire back on the podcast. You guys have been killing it. Your son Logan doing the outfits, the costumes for Deadpool and Wolverine. Beetlejuice. I am just naming the last two because I'm still fanning out about those, just seeing them online within the last few days. And just amazing work. Just congratulations on getting invited by Marvel to go see the movies and getting to the screenings, but just really on the amazing quality of the outfits, man. We got to give it up.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's always a blessing. It never gets old. It never gets old as far as like when we get invited. It never gets to that point where, like, at least not for us. I mean, I don't know for other creators, but at least for us, we never get to that point. Like we're always excited. We're always like, oh, thank you, blessing, thank you, many more type thing. And because there's some creators that get to that point where like, I'm big enough, I don't want to do that no more. I'm good. Me, I always tell them, invite me to anything. I don't care if it's small, big, we're there, kind of, because it's always gonna be an experience.
Mm-hmm. Dude, hell yeah. I mean, your journey's been awesome. And, this is a question that we have. Obviously, we were just talking about Scotty. He's got a handful of kids. And it was like, do you let your kids watch this rated R movie? What happened with you and Logan? Did you let him see it? Did you talk to him? How did it go?
Did he fall asleep?
I mean, of course I did.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't I mean, we've talked about it, but when we first did our first interview, when you first had us and talked about the origin of, how we came about, this movie, this premiere was like a full circle thing, and it was meant more to us just because Logan started off his quote unquote cosplay career or whatever he's doing now with Deadpool. Like that's literally that's what started us off. He wanted a Deadpool suit when he saw Deadpool 2. He was 3 years old. He wanted me to make him a suit. I made him a suit and went viral. Rob Liefeld, posted on la la la. So that's how he started. And obviously we named him Logan after Wolverine, which is the version that Hugh Jackman created after his version. So that's why he was named Logan. So obviously now you have Deadpool Wolverine. So it was a full circle thing. Like when this movie came about, we're like, oh no, we have this. This is a big one for this. We have to attend. We have to go to this. It's because it's what made us what we are now. Like that's what started us off.
Wow.
So yeah, he has seen it. And he's seen the new one too, which I would say Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2 are way more rated R, I would say, than Deadpool Wolverine.
I agree. A really good hot take, because I think that's exactly right. So let's get into that movie. I mean, yeah, full circle moment. If you haven't found Logan Winter cosplay on Instagram, on everywhere on the internet, you're really easy to find. I've always been able to find your amazing outfits and the Deadpool and Wolverine. He's got Deadpool on one side, Wolverine on the other. Okay, it's really, really beautiful. Now we're ready to hear your take. Tell us what you thought about the movie.
I said that it is a great movie, amazing movie. If you started with the MCU from the beginning, and I'm talking about Blade, I'm talking about you saw, obviously Blade wasn't part of the MCU, but to me, obviously everyone thinks he started where we're at now, and then you have Iron Man, the one that really started it, I guess you could say, depending who you speak to. If you started with all of those and you followed it from the beginning and everything, this movie is for you. You're gonna go in there. You're gonna love this movie. The references, the little cameos, and everything. You're gonna love it. Now, if you come in from a perspective of just you like movies and you like those superhero movies, not so much. You're gonna enjoy it. They're gonna be like very confused. They're gonna come out like, oh, it was all right. Which you do have those people. You have to like, you know what? I'm not really a fan of it. It was okay. I thought I expected more. That's because they haven't been following it since back then. Those little cameos, the little references, the little stuff that they showed us, for us fans that followed from the get-go, it was a big moment for us. And that's why I feel like this movie was for them, for those fans that, enjoyed Blade, Electra, like watching those movies back then, You grew up with those movies, so it's definitely for them. So I say, if you come from that background, you're gonna fully enjoy this movie. The other people, not so much. They're gonna give it a 6, 7 out of 10 type thing. Me personally, I loved it. And it gave us, it gave us a little closure as far as when it came to Blade, Electra, Gambit. People don't really talk about this that much, that we got to see Blade again. We got to see Electra, and we got to see Gambit, where back then it was just a rumor. It was just not really a rumor. He came out in the Comic-Con panel with the shirt on with Ryan Reynolds, and we all thought, okay, we're gonna get a Gambit movie. Never got it. So seeing him in this movie, obviously, is like, it was one of those things where they Ryan Reynolds, I'm sure, was like, let's give them, this is what they've been wanting. Let's give them this. And like I said, with Wesley Snipes coming out in Electra, it's definitely a movie that it gave us closure, I would say. That was like, wow, yeah, we needed that.
Hell yeah, man. Fair share. Well said.
And I will say they didn't like how we're talking about the rated R stuff. They did not, I guess, use the rated R part as I thought they were. I think they used it more on the swearing than the. I mean, the bloodiest thing that I saw was when obviously Chris Evans Human Torch got his body like that. I mean, I think that's where they mostly used it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was gonna be more like Logan. When I first saw Logan, that first scene and him taking on and doing what he did, I was like, wow. Seeing Wolverine doing that for the first time and rated R, I was like, whoa. So I thought this movie was gonna be someone like that, where yeah, he did use his claws here and there, but and I believe that they did take some parts out because I don't know if you follow the whole behind the scenes stuff when they first started filming, and they were filming where the whole Boyd was, and there is a behind the scenes that people took pictures and everything that Wolverine rips Wolverine's arm and throws him through the sign, and he has the arm in his hand, Wolverine, and that obviously wasn't in the movie, so I'm like, oh, so I guess they took that part out. That would have been cool to see,
I'm gonna give it to Scotty Scoop, dad to dad. A question, I feel like there's probably a lot of themes there. I feel like I agree, they played this toward the older audience, like the fans from, people that know only about the '90s Blade. Like that's gonna be adults.
Well, not only that, but '90s Blade and the early Fantastic Four films.
Yeah.
At any point did you have to explain to Logan like what was going on, or did he
I did
understand?
Have to the Chris Evans part, the Human Torch, yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That one I did have to explain.
Flame on!
That's the only part.
I mean,
only part
he
that
probably didn't know who that was, I'm sure.
Captain America.
Yeah, he saw Captain America. Not a whole lot of people are showing their kids
they played it right.
Old Fantastic Four films.
Yeah, they played it to us where they showed us the red, and we all thought it was gonna be Captain America.
Yeah.
So they did it well like that. So when he saw, I was like, oh, that's Captain America. I'm like, oh yeah, he played the Human Torch. I'm like, oh. But Blade and Elektra, he did know just because we've seen those movies recently.
Sure.
And I've told him, like, when I watched Blade, I was like, oh, this is one of my favorite movies. This trilogy right here. And I showed him the one also where Ryan Reynolds comes out with him. So when he saw him, he's like, oh, he came out in Blade with Deadpool. I'm like, yeah, well, I was like, yeah, the other way around, but yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, Ryan Reynolds came out in Blade movie. But yeah, that's the only scene that I had to explain to him, as far as like he was like, wait, why is Chris Evans saying flame on? But yeah, that was the only part. Yeah, other than that, he knew everything else.
Nice.
He loved Gambit.
Yes.
He loved Gambit. Like, he was like, oh man, that was awesome.
Yeah, gave him nostalgia for his fit.
Yeah, dude, and I didn't think we were gonna see an action scene with him. I thought we were just gonna get the cameos, talk, that's it. But no, him doing his thing, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I guarantee we're gonna see a movie or a series from Channing Tatum for sure.
I could see it. A lot of people were into it. Hopefully, you guys have got Logan's Gambit outfit circulating again, because that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's something we could pull out in a day.
Good. There you go. All right. Well, we've taken plenty of your time, Manuel. Really good talking to you and seeing you again. And you guys are always welcome back. And
of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and you guys always, I'll send you our phone number, 754-CALL-LOG. You, Logan, anytime you want to call and rant about something you saw, we play those voicemails on the pod. So,
okay.
We could do that in between,
Oh, nice.
Anything, Andy, before we let him go?
No, I look forward to seeing. I know Logan wants to be an actor someday, so I was wondering if we might see him in the Deadpool Corps during this movie. I saw some kids out there, but I think he would fit in well.
You know what? You're not the first to say that. A lot of people actually ask, like, "Hey, didn't it hit you up for that?" I'm like, no, I don't think it works that way. I mean, I wish, yeah. Someday though.
We'll tell Feige to hold out for Secret Wars. There's room for Logan.
The funny thing about all the premieres that we've gone to, and we always can counter Feige. Logan always tells him, Feige, I'm gonna need a cameo in one of your movies. I'm gonna need a cameo. So now it gets to a point where, like, he knows him by name. Like, hey, Logan. Like, and he's like, oh, money. I'm like, yeah, I got you. That's all he says now. Yeah, I got you. So I don't know. Maybe one day we'll see.
Yeah, he's got the portfolio, like all the
Yeah.
headshot. If he was like, if he was like, auditioning, he'd have the headshots ready. Like I've already been so many superheroes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Logan might be the anchor being of our universe.
There it is.
Let's
Oh,
just-
nice.
I'm just gonna say that.
Young Avengers.
Right.
We get him in a Young Avengers movie.
There you go.
All right, man. Anything you're plugging that you want people to know about? Where can people check you out?
Yeah, well, just check us out. All our socials. It's our handle is Logan Winter Official. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. That's we're mostly on TikTok and Instagram right now. As far as like first dibs on news or first dibs on like DB to stuff, it will be Instagram. So I guess keep an eye on Instagram.
and we're keeping an eye out for like a picture with Michael Keaton.
Oh yeah, so I'm actually working on that right now to see if we could get invited, because from what I hear, the premiere is going to be in Venice. They're going to premiere in Venice Festival, which is in Italy.
Yeah.
They have a film festival there, so they're going to do it there first, just how they did Joker.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
we're working on that.
Trying to get that plane ride. Let's go.
Exactly.
Well, best of luck. Best of luck, man. We believe in you, and we can't wait to talk to you guys next time, and take care in between.
Of course. Great talking to you guys always. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Right now is Deadpool Wolverine, the latest MCU flick, and Brandon Davis himself from Comic Book here. Phase Zero, MCU legend, been following him for years, and we got him on the show. I'll give it up again, dude. Welcome to the podcast, officially.
Well, thanks for having me, dude. Mostly superheroes. Let's talk mostly about superheroes.
Mostly about two big superheroes that made it to the big screen, introduced Disney to a plethora of adult content that we all enjoyed. And we have a couple, we could come up with questions all day, but this is a show of professional fans fanning out all the time about this stuff. So I want you to be a fan right now and just talk to us again, because I know you're just giving your reaction to this movie all the time over at Comic Book on the Phase Zero podcast. Your guys' coverage of Comic-Con, the movie, and everything has been so good. So I know this will be the 100th time you've talked about it. And because of that, I want to hear what you have to say at this point.
Dude, I've seen the movie 3 times. I'm considering going to see it a 4th tonight because, first of all, you said as a fan. I really only talk as a fan. I know, like, I work in media and all that, but I do it because I'm a fan of this stuff. So my default is find things I like and stuff, except, like, Madam Web, where there's really just nothing to find. But for the most part, I try to have fun with these things and enjoy them. And I do this. I consider myself lucky to do this job, and I only got into doing this job because I'm a fan of this stuff. And I have to do it now with like the professional tint and all that, and always be honest about it. But Deadpool Wolverine, dude, I loved it. How is this not going to be my favorite movie of the year? I was a little nervous going in because my expectations were so high. And I felt like the story itself was fine, but the movie was just entertaining as hell. Like the story, I could poke holes in it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I could poke quite a few holes in it. The more I think about it, the less it makes sense. But I just don't care because it is so much fun. Like, and that's kind of like all the X-Men movies by this point, right? Like, they don't make perfect sense as a timeline, but First Class is great. Logan is phenomenal, even if it doesn't all add up in terms of canon and franchise timeline. And that's kind of how I felt with this. Like, it makes enough sense. I can kind of mostly piece it together. If I try, I can poke holes in it. That's probably true of freaking almost every movie. Yeah, like, I'm sure if I look at Interstellar, I can go be like, oh, with this kind of, maybe, I don't know. Interstellar is pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty perfect.
It's pretty damn good. But I think you get my point. Like, is Interstellar a better? I'm not here to compare which one's a better movie, but Deadpool Wolverine is just the most fun I've had at theaters in I don't know how long. I thought Bad Boys Ride or Die was going to be the most fun movie of the year after I saw that, and then this just blows it out of the water. That's not even a jab at Bad Boys because I loved it. But this was just so much fun, man. You could tell these guys are having fun making it, from Ryan and Hugh to Sean directing them. So I think it all shows through in the movie, and it's like good. It felt like a party at the movies, which for me, when you're asking people to spend money to go to the movies these days, and not only is there a lot of movies to see, everybody's kind of broke right now. Like, we're all kind of tightening it up, trying to be a little choosier in how we spend our money, just everybody in the whole freaking country and maybe the world. So you want to have a good time when you go, and this movie is that. I loved it.
Beautiful. Let's call that a fair share.
Let's go. Fair share.
So first question is, I've seen all your great interviews with Kevin Feige. My brain is going to the same place that you were in these interviews of what does this mean for the future of the MCU? Deadpool is now going to be interacting with this PG-13 audience that it's kind of been all these years, but he's here. They've kind of introduced superpowers for Deadpool's ability to see and communicate through the multiverses. What does this mean as a bigger picture for not just, I think Deadpool could potentially be, obviously Thor's crying, right? Like he's going to play some kind of role.
Why was Thor crying?
Why is Thor crying? Like we know this is going to lead to somewhere big, I think, in these Avengers movies. But outside of that, how do you think this will affect the formula of these MCU movies coming out in between?
So I don't want to get ahead of myself because I remember after the first Guardians of the Galaxy, we all thought they were going to be the next Avengers movie, and they weren't even touched upon in Age of Ultron. Just because somebody's there doesn't mean Marvel's going to use them. They don't rush to cross these characters over. Now, that said, maybe they're not all in Doomsday, but Secret Wars certainly has to have some sort of Avengers versus X-Men element to it. If you want to cash in from a business perspective, from a storytelling perspective, the actors aren't getting any younger. Hugh Jackman looks phenomenal, but he can't play Wolverine forever. So if you want to get the original casts of the Avengers and the original cast of the X-Men, that's the place. I think that's pretty much the only opportunity they have to do that. You throw Tobey Maguire in there, hopefully. That's the only way you top Endgame. That's the only way you really make a movie that's potentially even close to as big as Endgame. And even then, Endgame was such a phenomenon with such a unmatched build. I don't know if that movie, even with all those cast members, hits the box office numbers Endgame did. Maybe. I just don't think they have the time to build it. Now, that said, Deadpool is a massive success. Fantastic Four, a lot is riding on that. And Doomsday, I'd say there's even more riding on that. Here's the thing about what it does, I think, for the MCU storytelling. And I'll say this as a wrestling fan and a wrestler who is now seeing behind the curtain in wrestling. Wrestling tells the story as it goes. They get a picture of what they want to do. They don't know what's going to go over or what's going to be booed. They have ideas, but they pivot. And the Cody Rhodes and The Rock thing is the perfect example of recent memory. They thought The Rock versus Roman was going to be a huge hit, and you throw The Rock in the ring. Nobody's going to care if you take Cody out because it's The Rock versus Roman. And the fans said, no, we want Cody. They became a bunch of Cody crybabies. Man, we want Cody. So they got Cody versus Roman. That's the opportunity the MCU has, and I think that's what the MCU did so well from 2008 to like 2019, really. They weren't making things in such quick succession that they couldn't react. I think now you have an opportunity to look at all of Phase 4, the highs of Spider-Man No Way Home and the lows of Secret Invasion, and then look at what you just did with Deadpool and Wolverine and say, this is what they reacted well to. This is what they reacted poorly to. Let's do more of this and less of that. And put that in the story for Doomsday, Secret Wars, Fantastic Four, everything else that they're cooking. They finally have a chance to take a step back, see what's working and not, and act accordingly rather than, well, we have a season of this show today. We have a movie tomorrow. We got another season 2 weeks from now, and we got another movie a month later. It was all happening too fast to adjust, I think. And now I think not only do they have time to let production play out more smoothly, but I think they have time to react the same way wrestling does. And I think that's a really big benefit for the MCU.
Hell yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, well put. I think that they, they have the potential. We saw what they could do. They could, even though they came out with too much, That's cool that they could put that much power toward, I want to see that energy put to 4 really great movies. All right, Giggler, you had a question for BD. Let's hear it.
For sure. I'm going to connect the dots of some of the stuff we're talking about here with wrestling in the MCU. Give me your dream tag team matchup to face off against Deadpool and Wolverine. Any WWE, any wrestler ever, not including yourself, obviously.
This is going to happen.
It could be. Stephen Amell crossing over in WWE was one of my favorite things that's happened in the past 20 years of my life. So
wait, like 2 WWE wrestlers versus Deadpool and Wolverine?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, they would get wrecked by Deadpool and Wolverine. But
we don't have to go full canon here. I mean, right now in WWE, look at the crazy Wyatt Six we have. It doesn't have to be full on realism.
This is happening.
You know who would be interesting because the combo of theme plus dialogue would be The Undertaker and Seth Rollins.
Ooh, you just took
The
one
Undertaker's a great character, great theme that comes with him, great storytelling, and Seth is just such a character right now that he would be like Wolverine can't stand Deadpool. Imagine him trying to listen to Seth Rollins yap.
I love that.
Great.
Having having Deadpool with a microphone in those big arenas would be actually something to see.
For sure. Seth
Oh,
Rollins
yeah.
finally
Oh.
gets into the MCU as well.
Yeah. Poor. Man, I'm not thrilled about that. I love Seth.
Brandon, we've taken plenty of your time, dude. Thank you so much for popping in and talking with us.
Guys, thanks so much for having me. Awesome show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll see you at Phase Zero and Comic Book, and talk to you next time.
All right, guys. Have fun.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
See you, Brandon.
See you.
Later.
All right, guys, that's the podcast. Final sign-offs. How'd you go, Andy?
Man, I am out of gas.
Yeah, that
was beautiful though.
LFG.
Good work. I mean, we talked to Brandon Davis and Sean Gunn in the same month. That's pretty cool. I'm like I said, I'm ready to sit here till I'm 90.
You're ready to sit here till you're 90. I'm gonna make you do this the rest of your life.
It's fine. That's fine. If we could go at this pace, I could do this all day.
How about you, Scotty?
Man, it really just makes me want to go see the movie right now again. I mean, it was just so good. And like you said, I can't wait to get this on Disney Plus and put it in the rotation. I mean, I'm not going to say Endgame and Infinity War are getting stale, but I got to add something else in there for sure.
It is, yeah, you're right, because I've seen them so many times at this point that it's like they're not getting stale, but like you can only watch a movie so many times before it doesn't,
It's at the point where I'm not even watching. It's turned into like a comfort, like soundtrack, like background.
Yep.
Where I'm doing something else, but I'm still reciting the movie as it happens without watching it.
Do you put on French subtitles like I do so I can learn French?
I actually took French twice in high school.
Oh, well, Carrie speaks it, so I'm like I'm trying to learn, and I've been just like, if I know the Marvel movie, like it'll be like I had the volume down very low, and like they were French subtitles, and Carrie was like she did a pretty good job, but like I could say exactly what it was without even hearing the movie. I was like, you know what I was watching? Iron Man.
Dude, you're gonna be French, Cajun, all of the above. I'm proud.
French is kind of Cajun American, French American. All right, final sign off from me, man. Thanks for coming to the podcast. It's our Deadpool Wolverine episode paired with our screen and social. Watch for more of those. Big thanks to Brandon Diaz from comicbook.com. Big thanks to Emmanuel, the team from Logan Winter Cosplay. Thanks to all of our fans that wrote in. Watch for more nerdy episodes just like this. We're just getting started, and lots of stuff coming up on the podcast. Randy Naughton, Fox 2, local journalist and a legend, is coming on to talk to us. We got Tim Convey, comedian, opening for Nikki Glazer, coming on the show. And yeah, a big Marvel episode coming later this year. You can count on our season finale in December with our holiday spectacular and our best of. A big build-up that we'll be recapping the year, and we'll see you next time on Mostly Superheroes. Subscribe at mostlysuperheroes.com. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. Mostly Superheroes is proud to be funded in part by our sponsors. Mostly Superheroes is funded in part by paying patrons who receive early, ad-free, and exclusive episodes. Subscribe at mostlysuperheroes.com/support. Thank you for supporting your favorite independent podcast. Mostly Superheroes is an independent podcast owned and operated by Kerrigan Ventures in St. Louis, Missouri. Hosted by Logan Janis, Andy Hunn, and Scott Swearingen. Brand and creative by Carrie Clark Design. Music by Audionautics. Learn more at audionautics.com. Find more at mostlysuperheroes.com.